shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alston.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alston.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when it does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see all of you guys today. Sorry, I think I have a bit of an echo. I don't know how I managed to mess up my soundboard in a couple hours, but it's really good to see all you guys. I wanted to say good morning to the Dragon Tribe, and little Miss Sharon, you had me cracking up back here because you said it's 9:05 Tuesday where you are and you just jumped into bed. I'm telling you, I'm going to get this right one of these days with the time frames, but I'm glad to know that it's kind of early where you are because I always want to catch everybody. And it's so good to see you guys. And thank you so much, Angie, for your super chat. I want to pop it back up here really quick. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, or the super sticker rather. I always get those mixed up, but I really appreciate it either way. And thank you so much for, sending that over to me. And then I also saw, let's see, Town Chat Cafe and Ice and Fire. Good morning to you. I'm sorry I missed you in the chat. I should have just said a good morning to everyone in the chat. And then I saw Suzanne and Little Miss Sharon, of course. We saw, Seclusion Works and Busy Mama and Hey Jude. It's so good to see you guys today. So I did some research over the hours when I hopped off the live for our night live, and Yucaipa is the place where little Emanuel Haro, 7-month-old baby, guys, it's really, really sad. Hey Robini, before we get into it, there's not a whole lot of people in here. I gotta put this out here. Okay, there's literally a starfish that has a booty down under in the sea. And this is what we should probably start out with a little bit of a laugh, because I have a lot of information, guys, that is really, like, I was able to get, like, I don't know, 7 pages of not so fun information. But courtesy of Hey Jude, last night she sent us this hilarious starfish that was on the Sky News, and really, really funny. And I'm sure other news agencies picked it up. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys that and make you laugh, because I might make you guys cry. Robbie, can you imagine? I mean, it's just, the starfish needs some underwear. First of all, first thing in the morning, it's a full moon, and it's from a starfish. It's a booty fish. Hey Jude. Yes, it is. It is. We're full back nudity on Lady Freedom. Okay, but no, in all seriousness, guys. So this all occurred August 14th, 2025, right? 7 p.m. Rebecca Haro drives to a sporting goods store it's the one right up here, Big Five. Sporting goods store. She allegedly leaves the football game of one of her older children that she shares with the father, and his name is sorry, I have it all written down, and it's all the same last name, but they don't share all the kids in common. So they have 2 kids together, but then collectively they have 4, so 6 total. Again, big family we're talking about again. Jake is his name, Haro, Jake Haro. And apparently one of those other 4 older kids plays football, and she needed to go buy him a new mouth guard. So she leaves the game allegedly, and she ends up at the sporting goods store. Now, her baby, Emanuel Haro, 7-month-old baby, went missing. At 7:47, he was reported missing. So, the mother is alleging that someone came up to her, and her story has changed, right? There's inconsistencies right off the bat. First, she said it was a man that came up behind her. So, hey, C. Taylor. So, just kind of to set it up, she drives into the parking lot of the sporting goods store, the Big Five. She notices that the baby needs to be changed, and so she, when she pulls over into the parking lot, she gets out and she goes behind the driver's side door, right? And she goes to change the baby. And a lot of us know, that have little babies, sometimes it's cleaner to just do that in the parking lot than it is in some of these public bathrooms. So, you just kind of put the little folding blanket thing out for the baby, right? It's like a little trifold. You carry it with you in the diaper bag. You put it out. You start changing the baby, and there you go. So, throw the diaper away on the way in. But this doesn't happen like it typically would. And she says that someone comes up behind her. First it was a man, then it was someone, and punches her in the face, right? She does have a black eye, and we'll get into that later. But just says "Hola," and she said she doesn't remember anything after that, right? So if you could imagine, hey, Tony Fire, if you can imagine, "Hola," getting punched in the face, you fall on the ground, your baby's all of a sudden missing, right? But she says something weird like, I looked around the truck for him, like as if he would have like crawled underneath of the truck or whatever vehicle she's driving. Very odd statements from the mom already. And, I've done a lot of research, guys. I looked up News Nation, Ashley Banfield roasted the attorney. Now, I think it's important to note really quick, the attorney is for only the father, Jake, and not for the mother, Rebecca. Yet the mother, Rebecca, was the last one with the baby, right? Nobody else was allegedly with her besides her and the baby. They left the game to get the mouth guard for the older kid, allegedly, according to the mother. Now, the parents were out searching at first. They were handing out flyers. The flyers were really odd because it was a picture of baby Emanuel. Then you had missing kid written on there. And then it was the parent's phone number and not law enforcement's phone number. And I'm assuming these were homemade by the parents. The lawyer alluded to this, but it was more of an aha moment to kind of catch Banfield. And boy, did she snap back at him. And rightfully so, in my opinion. Now, both parents spoke of Emanuel in the past tense, right, in interviews with the media, and they did not cry, right? They were, feigning crying, but their eyebrows weren't showing, concern like maybe mine are. I was hoping to convey that, but usually people will, their foreheads scrunched together, right, when they're feeling some semblance of sorrow, sadness, concern. But we didn't see that, right? And not one tear. They're doing like, oh, but there's nothing, right? Also, the mother has what looks to be a healing black eye, in my opinion. For those who've had like a black eye before, you kind of understand that, it's pretty much a really nice, good shiner at first, right? If you really get rocked in the face, you're going to have a shiner that's really, really noticeable. And then after a while, it starts to lessen down here. And that's what we see in her pictures. And I'll show that to you later. But I just kind of want to set the stage, guys, because none of this makes sense to me. Now, when the dogs are brought in to search the area of the parking lot of Big Five, the sporting goods store, there's no scent of the baby. But yet the mother said that the baby had a dirty diaper right before this all occurred, and she didn't get a chance to change his diaper yet because she was grabbing for the diaper when someone said hola, which in Spanish is hello, by the way. They say hola to her and they deck her in the face, right? This is what she's alleging. But there's no scent of the baby anywhere in the parking lot at all. No scent indicating a direction in which the baby would have gotten into a car with someone. And a lot of you might be asking, like, what about the surveillance in the parking lot? Well, there was none. There was no surveillance in the parking lot, and nothing was picked up. Nothing that indicated that the story actually occurred the way that Mrs. Haro is stating that it occurred, right? And again, Mr. Haro is the only one with legal counsel. He has legal counsel, and this is the same lawyer that has represented him in another case where, let's see, that was a little bit further. 2018, guys, brace yourself for this. This is horrible. I mean, this is like the most disgusting crap I've ever heard in my life, and it makes me cringe just thinking about it. Ex-wife Vanessa to Mr. Haro. So ex-wife says that when she was nursing her 10-week-old baby that she had with Jake Haro, it was October of 2018 that Vanessa told Jake that, and this is of course being alleged by Vanessa, and Jake has a different story, although Jake did end up ultimately pleading guilty to this. So allegedly, in my opinion, of course. But the baby wasn't nursing, and she asked Jake to feel the baby's back. And according to the affidavit, he felt a crackle, and then they brought the baby to the hospital because of the crackle. The officer wrote an affidavit stating that the doctors at Loma Linda Medical Center that they had taken the baby to had said that the baby had acute fractured rib. The one rib was acutely fractured, right, first of all. But then there were other ribs, 6 other ribs, that were healing fractures, right? So they were from a past injury. 10-week-old baby. Just wanted to make sure I got that right. The baby also had a skull fracture, a brain hemorrhage, meaning the baby was bleeding from their brain, and that the baby's skull bone actually was fractured, as if the baby's skull was broken. 10-week-old, swelling of the neck and healing fractured leg bone. Later, when Jake returned home from the hospital, his sister found a search on his iPad, how to feed a baby with broken ribs, this search happened before the baby was brought to the hospital. So before the visit, and of course, Jake denies making the search, but it was alleged to have been found on his laptop. I'm just going to stop there and see what you guys think. It's just the most sad crap I've ever really read, knowing that a 10-week-old could endure something like that, and this guy is still okay to be around any kids at all. You know, I think so too, Tony Fire. Tony Fire says, my hair is standing straight on my back. Abused mama, and God knows about the kids. Well, and I agree with you, Tony, because I also watched a video from a body language expert that said that if you look at their body language in the interviews where he's wearing that white hoodie, I think it's like, I don't know, I forget the brand name, but you know, he's decked out in brand name clothes. She looks like she probably got whatever she could get her hands on, and you could just see a lot. I mean, it screams that she's afraid of this guy, right? And I'm willing to bet that the shiner didn't come from this random person at all, in my opinion. Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't believe, and that was what I just read off as well. That was shared by Annie Elise, another YouTuber. She was on News Nation. And so that was, what she presented on News Nation. But yeah, it's enough to, give you goosebumps and chills and, engage the barf bag. I mean, who would ever do that to a child? In my opinion, that's a monster, right? That's not accidental. That's far too many injuries, even past injuries, that the doctor noted at Loma Linda that day. Saying that this baby had already had. You think she is lying for the monster? Absolutely. I do. And guys, I literally just looked at this case from the time that we got off of the live from last night and into just now in the morning. Because, and I looked at a lot of different sources, and I watched this lawyer play semantics with, again, like I said, and got roasted for it. With Ashley Banfield. But, I don't find it to be cute at all. And I get we're all entitled. And we talked about that last night even. We're all entitled to legal counsel. We're all innocent until proven guilty. But this guy's track record doesn't look very good at all. And I mean, it's so disturbing. It's beyond disturbing, really. Rob Beanie says, in my opinion, his younger baby and pics don't look as bad or off as more recent ones. Evil Exists did a short video of what was, available. Okay, so I did not watch that, but I have the picture. Well, it's so hard to tell in the one when he's younger, but it does look to me like there's some possible trauma to that baby, in my opinion. When well, because his little eyeballs, like, I don't know if he has, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful. It's just because I'm a regular person and I don't know all the medical terminology to describe what I'm seeing. But like some people have a lazy eye, right? Like where one eye will be on one side sometimes, and it does, like, you know kind of like floats around, right? And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't know the proper terms. But I'm just really wondering, Robini, if like there's something there where shaken baby syndrome, or perhaps just trauma, right? Because if somebody could do that to a 10-week-old little baby, I'm not going to put it past him to do it to a 7-month-old, or to have done it for so long and the mother's afraid to take the baby to the hospital. Because last time this happened, he was actually charged. He's on probation still. He violated his probation for having firearms and ammunition when he wasn't supposed to have it. This guy is a real piece of work, and I'm not afraid of him. Not at all. Only a coward would do this to a baby or a woman, in my opinion. Robini says Dad supposedly got away with this a third time without any charges. Oh my gosh, with an ex he dated from Walmart. He had a baby with too. Oh my gosh. And then he's got 6 with this lady, as far as I know, or kind of what I've collected. Now, of course, guys, I hit up a lot of different sources, but they were a lot of mainstream sources, reputable sources. I mean, Vinny Politan, he was covering this as well. And I saw Vinny's take on it. Nancy Grace, watched her take on it. And boy, was she livid. I mean, she was madder than a hornet. And I'm like, good for you, Nancy, get them. Also, guys, the Uvalde Foundation ducked out, right? They had a reward set up. They had a search set up, backed out. And if you guys remember, the same thing happened in Sebastian Rogers' case for this exact same reason. And it was because the Uvalde Foundation for Kids did not believe that the Proud Feet were being truthful. And so they pulled out. I mean, because it's really looking bad. It's really looking bad, in my opinion. And this is just going off of patterns that we see. Suzanne says, Robini, I noticed that also his right eye didn't look to the right in the younger pictures. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. That's kind of where I was going with it, but I didn't want to offend anybody, but I noticed that too. And it's kind of hard to tell in some of the pictures. And of course, I'm trying to be careful because obviously people are innocent until proven guilty. But boy, does it break my heart. It just breaks my heart to see this and hear this. And I'm praying that other baby is okay, because to have that much trauma and a 10-week-old, I mean, guys, we're to the point of brain damage when that stuff happens. I mean, it's just, it's sick. It's real shit is what it is. Robini says, yes, he's a disgusting thing to be called a human being, in my opinion. Mine too. That's all I could think about was like, and then he lawyers up, and then the other guy's like, oh, just make no mistake, I'm not, I can't, speak for her. Because Ashley was like, well, isn't it true that you decided to tell her, or excuse me, that her husband decided to tell her not to take a polygraph without a lawyer, but now she's left without a lawyer and he has one? Well, it's because he already had one. This is his defense attorney that got him off on what he did to that 10-week-old baby. I mean, I find it hard to keep my coffee down at this juncture. I really do. Like looking at this dude's face. But I want to put him in blast since he wants to, you know, it's his prerogative to be the devil's advocate, literally. And it's my prerogative. I could say what I want. Tony Fire says, I'm getting more angry. Why is this guy still on the streets? I know. And it's so frustrating too, because, you know, everybody was telling me last night, you know, lady, you should cover the story. You should cover the story. And, you know, I was like, okay, I will, you know, because I saw this little baby and I was thinking, you know, surely they're going to find him, right? Maybe it was like a mother who had recently lost her baby, because sometimes we hear those stories, right? Where like a mother will just kind of go crazy because she just lost her baby and then steal a baby from another mother or something like that, right? So I was really thinking that they were going to find like a crazy mom, you know, without knowing anything about the story, you know, that just wanted a baby, right? But was going to take care of Emanuel and we'd find him. But then it just got weirder and weirder. And the way people were coming in last night, it was so sad. Like I saw everybody like Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom was sad and said that Justin had covered this case and it was really, really bad, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll look at it. And I just went straight down the rabbit hole, didn't look back. You know, but it didn't make sense to me at first with the attacker blackening her eye and her eye not looking like it was freshly blackened, you know. And again, I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not trying to, you know, add insult to injury by any means, but that was healing. And then it's been alleged by neighbors and other people who saw, you know, Rebecca Haro, that she in fact may have had this shiner for a couple of weeks prior to all of this. There's some other really damning details as well that I want to share. And Susan says, after seeing the pictures of his daughter, she shouldn't have been allowed out of prison. Oh my gosh, they have this beautiful 2-year-old. Thank God she is taken out of that situation. Thank God she has been taken out of that situation. And then you have the lawyer saying, oh, well, they're not even, you know, charged yet. Really? Your client's still on probation from cruelty to a child. I think it's warranted. I think it's warranted. Same pattern with the mom too. He lawyered up and left mom to take the blame, allegedly. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You would think she would be the one that's in need of legal counsel, seeing as she was the last one with the baby, right? But he's steady covering his butt. That looks guilty as all hell. I mean, I understand. Again, everyone's entitled to legal counsel. We can't really hold it against them in a court of law, but in the court of public opinion, it's a different story altogether. We're not lawyers. We're not judge, jury, executioner, any of that. And I'm here to tell you, it just stinks. Hey, BMW Coupe, good to see you. See, I knew I'd try to catch my early birds here. I'm excited. Excited to see you guys this morning. Yeah, we need tougher laws in California. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and not this always feeling so bad for the parents, right? Look, I feel for the parents that have a missing child, right? Somebody abducts your child. Absolutely. Definitely. You know, in the case of Michael Monkey Vaughn, I think that he was abducted. I think they're pretty close to knowing who did that, allegedly, in my opinion. You know, it's a big difference. It's a night and day difference on how these parents act. It's so sick, little Miss Sharon, and I couldn't even believe it. You know, here I'm thinking, again, it's going to be some parents, and, you know, people are side-eyeing the parents, and that happens. I mean, It's normal, especially since the mom's the last one with the baby. But I never thought it was going to be this bad. I really never thought it could be that bad. 6 months with work release. Oh, God. As if, right? I mean, no way. Not after all this. There's no way. Tony Fire says, very sad she's covering for him and now might end up in jail because of him. Yeah, and I'm thinking that, especially because people are saying that there was no baby whenever she was at the football game, you know, and then the store employees are saying, yeah, we didn't see a baby with her at all either, you know, and allegedly she was at the store the night before asking if they had CCTV footage or surveillance over in that area. And because she says, you know, somebody was breaking into my car, or I think somebody might have broken into my car a week ago. And do you have any CCTV footage? And of course, the employees, probably being none the wiser to it, thought, oh, yeah, no, ma'am, we don't actually have cameras. I'm so sorry. Something like that. You know, I could just see it playing out like that. And allegedly, that's what happened. And she did that the night before this happened. It's been alleged by the employees. And again, you know, I always think about, you know, a perpetrator doing this in broad daylight, you know, and arguably it's 7 o'clock in the evening, but it's still summertime, right? It's still light outside, in my opinion. And, you know, there's this major lapse. I did do a Google search. You can be knocked out by being hit. I said, could a single punch knock somebody out, right? Obviously, we've all watched boxing and stuff like that. And yeah, that can happen. You know, it can cause a concussion, but it's not the most common way of getting knocked out, right? So I have to consider that as well, especially because mom's story is not adding up at all. And then with the recent information, Robini says, my abuser got work release when I was a child as well, and he only spent his nights in jail for Saturday, for an essay on me. See, and that's so sick because those people don't stop. Like, if you are, and I'm so sorry, Robini, you know, if you are someone who has been victimized in that way and you've survived it, right? Why would you allow for somebody else to have that happen, right? Why would anybody allow for that? Why would the courts allow for that? Because I'm here to tell you, this guy, I have it written down, back in 2018, and sorry guys, my notes are a little bit all over the place. So this court date, or this court case started in 2018, right? Eventually, he ended up pleading guilty to child cruelty in 2023, right? And it's alleged that this guy over here in the red suit got him off on that, on those charges, right? But then in June of 2024, he gets arrested for possession of a firearm and ammunition by a felon, right? By a convicted felon. So he's now a convicted felon. He's not allowed to have possession of weapons or firearms, but yet he does. And so he's now due in court on September 2nd, 2025, for the violation on his probation. That's what's being alleged, you know. And of course he has a lawyer to save his behind, who's probably the same lawyer, again, like I said, allegedly, in my opinion. It's been what they, you know, have been reporting on too. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, and then the mom did refuse a poly, and she said that, her husband told her not to take the polygraph without legal counsel, but now he hasn't even gotten her the legal counsel, right? Or this guy's not representing her at all. It's like, Tony Fire saying she's going to take the fall. And, in my opinion, her body language is afraid of him. She's like this away from him, right? Like he's right here on her. You think they would be like holding each other. They're scared. They don't know where 7-month-old baby. Somebody just comes and rocks me in the parking lot and steals my baby. I'm going to be a fucking basket case. Like I would be inconsolable. Nobody would be able to help me. I'd be like a nut. And instead she's like all the way over here like this, like going, hopefully, okay, so if you need this is like this is like this. Let us know if you need our help. Like, seriously, it's not even a joke. I'm not being silly. The mothers and the men, I know, BMW Coupe. It's like they're so scared or they're so broken down or both, right? Like, if they could only see that they're better off without these losers, I don't know. I wouldn't have been able to survive it because I would have been like, I probably would have been locked up because his ribs have been broken. Pull a Medea, pull out that big cast iron skillet. You know what I mean? Rob Beanie says they should have had that available, in my opinion. Or they shouldn't even have that available, in my opinion. No, I don't think so either. And why are all of these crimes against children, like, mowed over? Like, oh, no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It was just a 10-week-old baby who is completely defenseless. Whatever happened to these positions of trust? A baby is completely defenseless. It's like, it's horrible. Like, they need everything done for them. Hey, Twist and Turns. Twist and Turns says, I agree. He has no business around any kids, especially his own. What the fuck is wrong with this creep? And he couldn't even, or he should be behind bars, for life. Yeah, absolutely. That other baby did not, to my knowledge. They brought the baby to the hospital and they were released. I don't even know how they would. I guess they bandaged the baby up. I don't know. I'm not sure on the details. And, it does make me wonder, because obviously he was charged. And the ex-wife, Vanessa, or it may not have been a wife. It may have just been a girlfriend, right? Or baby mama, whatever. Let's see. I want to make sure I get her name correctly. Vanessa, I believe it is. Yeah, ex-wife Vanessa. Yep. Yeah, and then that was back in October of 2018, allegedly, that they're 10-week-old. And like babies, like, if they act lethargic or they won't eat and stuff, that means they're like sick. Something's wrong with them, and you need to get the medical attention. Instead, he's sitting there Googling how to feed a baby with broken ribs. It's just really the most piss poor shit I've ever seen. It just really is. And knowing that you go off and have 2 other kids with this guy, like, I was thinking that BMW Coupe, maybe shaken baby syndrome. Yeah, because like he didn't look like he had that same look about him when he was younger, and he's doing this to his own children, by the way, guys. He's like not a stepdad and, doesn't like the kid because it's not his or whatever. Robini says, BHB zoomed in on the Nike shirt picture too, and it looks like a deep indent or scar. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Robini. Yeah, and I didn't watch Betty's coverage. I should have watched Betty's coverage. Yeah, and How sad. How sad. And you're talking about like when he was wearing the blue onesie and he had it had all the Nike checks on it. Because she's alleging that he went missing with the Nike check onesie on. Let me pull this over. Sorry, guys. I just want hang wire on me. I just feel so bad. It's just so. This is like the saddest thing. Oh, I've got too many files. Okay. I was like, why is it doing that to me? Okay. Hold on. Sorry about that. I just want you guys to be able to see. And baby Emanuel actually looked really healthy in this little picture right here. And I know it's really hard to see his eyes, and that's where, you know, our focus is. But he actually looks like he's been, like, honestly, in my opinion, beaten in some of the photos. Like, it's just not right. And, you know, with the mother, let me see if I can pull in, give me 1 second here, because I think, oh, thank you, Hey Jude. I mean, guys, this beautiful little baby. Oh my God. It's just enough to really, oh my Lord. Here's a close-up too. Hold on here. Oh, sorry, that is from The Other Jerks. Oh, well, I deleted one of them. Okay, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta delete. No, I don't want to delete the brand. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to delete a few of these out of here so that way we can add some in. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Hey Jude. I know from Evil Exists. Thank you to Evil Exists too, guys, for helping us out with that. Okay. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why it won't let me. Hey, Retha Bell, good to see you. Welcome in, everyone. I'm sorry, this is so freaking sad. Hey, Brandon. Bonjour, Seclusion Works. I don't know why this won't let me delete so I can add one in. No, not rename it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry. It was giving me trouble for a second. I'm probably clicking it too many times, and it's like, slow down. Computers always do that to me because I go clicking away. Okay, there we go. So if we look at his little eyes, are like, he looks so alert. Oh my God, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to smoke a cigarette. This is awful. Thank you, Hey Jude. Let me look at this. Because I do have, no, not that one. Oh, Jesus. Okay, it's just loading in. Okay, so if you guys just look at this little baby. And then look. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. He looks like he's been traumatized. Like his, like, shaken baby, you know? So there's the one of his more recent photos. And there's him when he was a little bit younger. You know? And their little 2-year-old daughter is so beautiful, guys. I mean, she's just adorable. She was taken. She is not in the home anymore with these two. Another little odd find that I found when I was looking through, and I snapped a picture. Give me 1 second here. It's telling me, whoa, you got a lot of files. I'm like, I know it. Oh, that's Jaden. Sorry, guys. But yeah. And now you could probably also zoom into this photo, because that's another photo of baby Emanuel Haro. And that was one from Nancy Grace that I snapped. And it's kind of a little timeline and what he was wearing. And it does say that he's wearing a black Nike onesie. So I don't know if that is kind of like the one that he had with all the checks on it, or if it just had one swoosh, or, you know, what. But that's what he's alleged to have been wearing. Just absolutely awful. Hey, Adam Forever 21. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, fine Sebastian. Thank you for being here. C. Taylor says, I hadn't seen the Spanfield interview. I'm glad that she got the lawyer on there and hopefully roasted him. She did. Oh boy, because he was trying to fast talk her and she was like, oh no, nope, that's not going to go on. She did a really good job. I was like, whoa, Ashley, you get it, girl. You know, and she told the guy, she's like, look, I understand your experience, but I've dealt with these cases too, and there's just something weird about this. And, you know, she did. She grilled him. I was like, oh, we need more of that. Because, you know, this guy has played the violin for these two, and I understand that's his job. He's getting paid for that, but well, I guess not for both of them. He made it very clear he was only representing, you know, Mr. Haro and not Mrs. Haro. So. Oh, wow. You guys have a tropical storm shutdown? Oh my goodness, seclusion. Oh my gosh, stay safe in that. I know there's supposed to be some pretty gnarly storms coming. I haven't seen, oh, sorry, I read that one. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit behind in chat. Jude, I need to stop obsessing over this little boy. I never slept last night. I'm glad to see you. Oh, aw. I'm so sorry, Retha. I know. It's just the saddest thing ever. Like, I couldn't believe all of the things I found. I really didn't think it was going to be this bad, guys. I was like, sure, I'll look into the case, you know, and I've heard about it, you know, lots of people talking about it, but I mean, boy, it is really taken off, and especially a lot of coverage yesterday. Aww. Fine Sebastian says, it made me so sad. I literally cried hearing about both Emanuel and 10-week-old. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe that somebody would be so evil, right? And that he would still be able to walk amongst people, let alone little children, let alone little babies. You know, it's amazing to me that, you know, and God only knows what he told this woman, and God only knows what he told her before, you know, he moved in with her. And these guys move fast. I mean, they move fast. And, you know, I don't want to shame her, especially because I do think that she's afraid of him. I do. The younger one, he looks fine. I know, Retha. Isn't it so sad? Like, it's a total night and day difference. No, I was thinking is just damage done after birth. I've been chain smoking with this horrible, sad story. I know, Tony. That's why I was like, I got to calm down so I could have a cigarette. because it's absolutely sad. Um, I just don't see how people are able to get away with this stuff. You know, I just don't know. I don't know what kind of world we live in that it's allowed. Yeah, Brandon says, yeah, someone did something to him for sure. I mean, it looks that way to me. It really does. And what a monster. And it's all alleged, of course, in my opinion. In our opinions, major disclaimer. And I am going to make a new intro, but, what goes on at night's the same thing during the day. It's all alleged. But, this is based on research from multiple channels. And then you guys were telling me things last night. Um, you know, Absolutely. Hey, Jude. Well said, Hey, Jude. Thank you. Retha Bell, I know it's very hard. Sometimes you have a good heart. Yeah, and everybody that follows these cases does. I know you guys do. I mean, it's something that is a collective sadness whenever we see something like this with these beautiful babies, these children. There's no reason for it. No reason whatsoever. I mean, anybody, especially a baby, like you can take a baby to the fire station and you can drop that baby off and no one will ask you any questions. And some people would say, well, you don't know that that baby's going to have a good life. And I don't know that. But I do know that it may be a lot better off than someone who has a temper and is violent and who is abusive, you know, and who thinks it's okay to do these things and also, defend themselves. I mean, what possesses somebody? Good morning, Adam Forever 21. Yeah, and I feel like that about Sebastian too. Town Chat, I found it to be so odd that we have Uvalde Foundation for Kids pulling out just like they did in Sebastian Rogers' case. I honestly don't go seeking these things out. I really don't. I'm actually floored when I hear this because I'm like, screaming at the top of my lungs, oh my gosh, this is what's going on in Sebastian's case. This is happening in this case. Uvalde Foundation is for kids. They're not about helping the parents if the parents are not cooperating, right? And not telling the truth and being dishonest and there's threats and all of this. The similarities are uncanny. Oh, Suzanne says, I'm in North Carolina. Stay away. Hurricane Erin. I know. I heard she's going to be a really bad one. And I'm praying for everybody. Gosh, these tropical storms are really wicked. I'm not as familiar. You know what I mean? This will be my first, it'll be my literal first rodeo. So, yeah. And I try not to get too worried, but I mean, it's something to definitely consider and to keep an eye out for. And sometimes it's my understanding that, sometimes they'll trickle off and stuff, but I mean, even the ones last year were so bad. But yeah, I'm praying for everybody to just stay safe and, heed the warnings, definitely evacuate. And I know it's tough, but hey, Mercina Ryan says, is the daughter from when they originally told the news that he was holding? Yes. The little 2-year-old, she's a beautiful little girl. Yes, that's my understanding. But she has been taken by authorities. And that was one thing that was confirmed through Mr. Haro's lawyer, Vincent Hughes. He did confirm that with Ashley, and she made him, she made sure to get that at the end. I'm not happy. I can't go to work. I love my career. I know seclusion, and I know that's tough. Not as many people are so passionate about their career, so I'm glad to hear that. There's always something good in that. Why didn't the mom go to the guard, is my question. I don't know. She said that she got up, right? And like she was punched in the face, then she lost consciousness, and then when she woke, she was on the floor. When she woke up, she's looking for the baby. She can't find the baby. She goes into um, the sporting goods store and she asks, did anybody see a baby? And then she reported the baby missing, little baby Emanuel. So I don't know. And apparently she was scoping out the area, you know, the night before, trying to figure out if there was cameras in that parking lot. So, you know, maybe they drove through and noticed that there wasn't any cameras. And then that's when their, you know, elaborate story came out, in my opinion. Lady, I don't mean to sound weird, but look between his legs. Doesn't that look like... between the legs. Who? Which one? The dad? Mr. Haro? Jake? Jake? If I have to zoom in, see, I won't be able to see it, town chat. I appreciate that, fine Sebastian. Town chat says I care, or Retha says I care about Sebastian too, but the baby with the monster dad here is even more heartbreaking. I adore children. I treated mine like glass at the... I know, Retha. I agree. You know, there's just so many people that would be happy to have that baby. And just imagine what the little 2-year-old daughter, you know, went through, because it's my understanding that this other child was a little girl, the 10-week-old. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that's my understanding. Now, I do want to say that their home was searched. I do want to say that. I think it's absolutely heinous, you know. I really do. I really do. I feel like it's absolutely heinous. This is the house that they live in. And I'll pop that up really quick when it loads in. Right, this is their house. And it has been searched, right? But the parents went MIA all of a sudden, right? They were out, they were talking to media outlets, they were passing out flyers, they were at the vigil, which was held at the sporting goods store where the baby went missing from, allegedly went missing from. And, you know, you guys probably know my opinion by now. Rebecca Haro was the only witness, right? Which is the mother. Now, if there's any information that anybody has on this baby, right, you can call the Yucaipa Police Department, right? And I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. It's at 909-387-8313, right? Now, the father's vehicle was confiscated, to my knowledge, and it was confirmed by his lawyer on Thursday. It's also been said by the lawyer that all of their electronics were taken, cell phones, laptops, passwords were given up, the whole nine, right? And the father's vehicle was confiscated by San Bernardino's County Sheriff's Office, right? And let's see, we went over Jake's past conviction of child abuse. Cadaver dogs were brought in to survey the property, right? And they were also digging up parts of the property, according to, I believe, Court TV, right? Lawyering up, mouth shut, claims he can, his lawyer claims that he completed 1 year of child abuse, of a child abuse course, excuse me. So, and they're no longer cooperating with authorities, according to authorities, guys. But what do you guys think about this 1-year child abuse course that was, because I'm a little bit befuddled on that. So what did that entail exactly? Because that is what happened to the 10-week-old baby is brutal. I mean, absolutely brutal. I don't like what do they have for that? What kind of class do they have for that? I'd like to know like exactly what the curriculum was. And it was a year course. So was it like once a week? You know, did he get a certificate of completion? What? You know? Seclusion works as our mad scientist. Mad in a good way, right? Still walking around, Retha, like, I mean, you know, and still is able to have these little children, you know, keep having them. I mean, I just don't get it. It is so sad. Find Sebastian. Yeah, I have a feeling something went bad. Yeah. And the timeline, it just doesn't seem correct. Again, you know, we have this weird, and especially if it's being alleged that, you know, they were scoping out the, you know, surveillance over at the sporting goods store. And then also people were saying that there wasn't any baby with them at all at the football game, you know. Ever, never, ever. Mercina Ryan says, after that original charge with the child should not be allowed around children, period. Never, ever, ever. I mean, I don't understand why it's allowed. You know, I get that, you know, we're all entitled to what we do with our bodies and everything. And I understand, but I don't know. People just don't seem to be able to act right on their own, you know, and these mothers, it's like, I don't know. McAfee says, or Brandon, he's a monster and don't need to take care of kids. And he doesn't, and he done it. And I think he's telling her, if you say anything, something bad is going to happen to you. I agree with that because she's definitely pulling away from him, right? It's not like she is like looking to him for support. Their body language is really, really off. And it's more of like she's afraid. And when she's telling the story, he looks angry to me. Like he gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies, like where he's like looking down, like mad, you know, like you better tell it right or you're gonna get it, you know. I mean, that's just how those people think, unfortunately. You know, and it's not just, you know, women do it too, and I get it. It is truly sad, BMW Coupe. It really is. You know, it's a major injustice. And then, you know, like, oh, well, I took a year's course for child abuse. Like, I just want to know what kind of course that is. Is that state regulated? I would imagine so if the courts ordered it. Yeah, we were talking about that too, Adam Forever 21. I got a vibe the firebugs got paid to make a threat or burn video evidence. Yeah, because there was allegedly a fire nearby. I'm not sure if it was in the behind their property or if it was at the neighbors, because people were alleging that it was at the neighbors. I actually didn't get that far because I was listening to all this other stuff that was going on, and then also trying to get a good idea of what the original story was, right? Which she's kept it consistent in some areas, but of course we know that many times the truth is going to be speckled into the overall picture to make it more believable, right? So they've done that in terms of, you know, someone saying hola, and which means hello, and why they would just say hello if they're going to steal your baby from you. I would think they would try to get away without anybody knowing who they are, right? Especially if it's somebody who is just there to take the baby, right? He should still be in prison. Find Sebastian. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. And the fact that they just let these people out, if they're willing to do that to a baby. Rita says, by the way, I'm smoking too. I'm not ashamed of smoking cigarettes. I know smoking is not God's plan. I know. And I just, I try to calm down in case like a kiddo or somebody's watching, because I don't want them to think. Plus, it's not as glamorous as it used to be, you know. So, yeah, I know. See, that's me. That's me too. Yeah, we were talking about maybe, quitting, and then all of a sudden, we got breaking news. I'm like, oh my gosh, and then I'm sitting there smoking. But it's hard in these situations, because it is very stressful to hear about these things. It's stressful to see these patterns over and over again. What was the other thing? The lawyer, because he was really making me want to, smoke two at a time. Attorney for Emanuel's father, Vincent Hughes, he says that he's hauled up with his family, and that they aren't getting the support that they need, and that they're getting death threats, and that they're getting bombarded by people who are upset. But he's acting like this guy, Jake Haro, is some kind of a victim here, but I can't look at him like that, knowing what he's done to a 10-week-old. I will never see him as a victim, ever. Never. I think he's a disgusting, evil monster. And that is based on his conviction. So, in my opinion, I can do that. Yeah. And honestly, I get so mad at these people, Retha. It's just like, why should the tax dollars even pay to keep somebody like that? I get so angry that I just don't even, I have no patience for these people at all, and it's like, I'm not trying to be a vigilante. I understand that justice has to take its course, but it's not justice when he gets off on doing what he did to a 10-week-old for a year program that God only knows what he had to do. Show up for an hour a week? It's not good enough. There's no such thing as like some kind of magical boot camp that's going to make somebody not be an abuser anymore. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen like that, folks. It just doesn't happen like that, Adam Forever 21 says, Lord, our system needs to do better. This man was out walking, and it's so wrong. Yeah. It is wrong, And again, I don't want to shame the mother, because I think she's really going through it, guys. I think she's scared to death, and I would be too of him. Not everybody's gonna react the same way. When you're really beaten down and you really feel like you have nothing to offer anyone because somebody's constantly telling you horrible things about yourself, it is a really horrible situation to be in. But I'm really praying that she can get to some kind of safety away from him. Look, he's not protecting her. He's protecting himself. As a matter of fact, I would bet my bottom dollar that he doesn't give a crap about what happens to her. He lawyered up for himself. This guy was like, I'm not representing the mother. He said that plenty of times. I can't speak for her. I'm not representing her. So how come she can't go take a polygraph? It's just a question. I know, fine, Sebastian. I appreciate you, hon. It's just terrible, you know? Yeah, I know. Adam Forever 21. Coffee helps too. Coffee helps too. It does. But I mean, it is. It's. I hear you guys saying it's tough to sleep when you hear about these stories. I mean, you know, I was getting a little bit tired there for a minute, and then I started getting into this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this is horrible. It's like a nightmare. It's like the worst horror movie, you know. I don't even watch horror movies anymore. I just watch the local news on, pick a channel, Court TV, Law, excuse me, I almost said Law and Order, Law and Crime, network. I watch that, and it's like watching a horror flick. I mean, worse things happen in real life than they could ever make up. That is one of the most horrific stories I've ever heard. That's right, Robini, Aretha. Yeah, and I know it is about willpower and stuff too, but sometimes you just gotta have one and relax, right? Oh, sorry guys, I did not mean to drop that link. BMW Coop says, but all of these parents who are lying on their children, like all these cases, can't hide and lie for long. Truth will come to light sooner or later. I agree with that, BMW Coop. I really do believe that. I think that everything that happens in the darkness is going to come to light. Even though it might take a while, even though sometimes it's not swift like we want it to be, but it always does come out. It comes out in the wash, some people will say, or that, so the saying goes. And I believe it does, and I believe it takes time. And I think people do want to come forward. Sometimes they're afraid to, sometimes it takes them longer. But I do think that. I absolutely do. And I think of, what goes around comes around too. Oh, so Pennsylvania isn't as bad. Okay. Retha says, seclusion, are you? Oh, sorry. Personal conversations. Yeah, Adam Forever 21, people were talking a little bit about cartels or maybe activity within the cartels and things. He may be in a Latino gang and mom is fearing for her life. I mean, that's a very strong possibility, and especially in that area. Now, I don't see any indicators of affiliation, in my opinion, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, they're getting a little bit smarter too, where they're not as outward as what they used to be. Yeah, or taking her hostage. Well, she's got to be afraid. There's no doubt in my mind that she's probably afraid. I really think that could be, like I said, her being hit in the eye could have been from him from a couple of weeks ago, at least. I did. The neighborhood house is on fire. Yes, fine, Sebastian. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit last night, and I didn't get to do a whole lot of research on it in terms of, like, was it a wildfire behind the house? Was it, set near the area? But I don't think anything is. Oh, he works over at Walmart, Robini. Thank you. That's right. Somebody else said that he had met a girlfriend over there. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, he may not be, faithful to this woman. He might have her at home, barefoot and pregnant, so to speak. Their other little girl is 2 years old. This baby is 7 months. Really makes me wonder, what can be going on. Yeah, we might be hearing next that the mom is under a hostage situation. And Rabini says that wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't me either. This guy is completely dangerous in my opinion. Why he's still out and about, you know, is beyond me. Oh my goodness. Oh, Retha, I'm so sorry to hear that, hon. BMW Coop says, as a mom of 4 boys, this is bothersome. I would never harm or do away with my babies. I mean, I know. I don't understand it either. It's like they're very blessed with 2 beautiful babies, right? And more. Obviously, they have more babies between them. And, you know, this is what happens. If he knew that he was going to reoffend, why didn't he get help? That's another thing, too. He obviously doesn't think he needs it. But I'm here to tell him I think he does need it, you know? Yeah, CP has done how many? Only anger management, to my knowledge, to find Sebastian. He's also, to my knowledge, had to take, didn't he have to take some other class too? And I know it was anger management, but I thought he had to take something else through the courts, another class, like a parenting something. Because I know when there's issues in courts, usually parents will have to take these parenting classes, right? Like co-parenting classes, different things ordered by the court. Cherish Your Sparkle, good to see you, says missed all them classes. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, do they get a certificate? Do they get, what do they get? Hey, Sugar Magnolia. It is bullshit. It is bullshit. Oh, wow, Robin, you got hit with 10 in Florida? Oh, my goodness. 1 year we got hit with 4 in a row. Oh, my goodness. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I know. Seclusion says if that's the case with the game and the lack of presence, when was the little guy reported? Yeah, so it was alleged that she went up to the sporting goods store around 7 p.m. and then allegedly she was attacked in the parking lot, and then she woke up around 7:47 and went into the establishment looking to see if anybody saw her baby, and then she reported him missing at 7:47. About it was kind of a little bit of a cloudy timeline, but people are alleging that no, she wasn't seen with the baby at all at the game or in the parking lot. So really, really sad. Really, really sad. Yeah, the Find Sebastian, yep, the employees at the store actually said they haven't seen any baby around. Yeah, and then they don't have surveillance yet. It looks like a newer store, like they maybe just opened it up. I suppose there was a Big Lots also in the same parking lot, but it was never, said that, anything really about it. Having cameras or that it was open. They said that it could have possibly been because I know they were closing a lot of the Big Lots around too. So I think maybe it was one of those things where it was closed down. Yeah. And I'm not certain what has happened either, Sugar Magnolia. I mean, it's kind of hard to, say. I mean, like I said, the mom did say at first that there was a man that said Ola, or it was a man's voice, But then she changed it to someone, and she said, that's all I remember. I woke up on this floor panicking for my son because I couldn't find him. I looked around the truck. If you see anything or hear anything, please come forward, is what she said in one of the news briefings. She also said, I'm begging you, please bring my son back to me. So, you know, and it's like she's telling somebody, whoever has him, she wants us to believe that somebody took him from her, you know. Let's see. And I went over that LE took all of the laptops, according to Vincent Hughes, passwords for all of the electronics, phones. He was using that as an excuse as to why they weren't out searching or looking, you know, or spreading awareness, right? He said, well, they don't have a vehicle because the vehicle was taken that Thursday when the baby was reported missing. And then also the police took their phones, laptops, any way of communicating. But, you know, I mean, there are Ubers, right? There are family members. There are ways. I don't care if I had to walk to Walmart or wherever and buy a phone. I would buy a new phone and let law enforcement do with what they're going to do with my phone. You know, and that's one thing, you know, that people were echoing all around. You know, Nancy Grace had to be in tears because she was talking about how, you know, the minute that you have a baby, it's not about you anymore. It's about them. And so, you know, by all means, give me a polygraph, take my phone, just please don't look at me for this, right? Go look at who actually took my child, right? But clear me right off the bat. Whatever you have to do. You want a vial of blood? Here it is. You want me to, you know, do the cheek swab and put it in a freaking petri dish? Go for it. I don't care what you have to do. Find my child. These parents complaining and acting like victims. No, bullshit. I'm tired of it. It's so tired. It's played out. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, sometimes you don't, you know, you don't have a choice either. That could be so scary. Okay, it was across the street from their house. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, yeah, because I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of, you know, research, and you know, who knows? They could have all kinds of stuff back there, you know, that they deliberately set fire to. You know, in my opinion. Let's see. Jake is still on probation. I told you guys that. And then he did take a plea agreement. He pled guilty, but took the plea agreement to what he did to the 10-week-old baby. LE has reported that there's inconsistencies in her story. And when confronted, she ended the interview with LE, right? So huge red flag, law enforcement not having it. Thank God. Uvalde Foundation for Kids withdrew search efforts due to lack of cooperation from the parents on the investigation. Okay, we went over this. I do have a question on why, you know, the only person who has representation is Jake. That's one of my big questions. Because, you know, I understand with his history, he may be looked at as, you know, public enemy number one. But also, I mean, let's be honest. Hey, wait, what? Good to see you. They're not, you know, they're not giving us any information to indicate that it wasn't them who was involved, especially when we're hearing that there wasn't a baby at the football game, allegedly, that the employees didn't see a baby in the parking lot, nor did they have CCTV footage, and that someone that resembled, in their opinion, Rebecca Haro came in asking about footage, and it seems like she was scoping it out, in my opinion, you know? Oh, well, I will watch Justin. That was another person that I didn't get a chance to watch, was Justin, too. Oh, Sugar Magnolia says, I had the hell beat out of me well over a decade ago, and I just now began to discuss it. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Sugar Magnolia, and I'm so sorry to hear that for you, because it is something that, like, comes with a lot of shame, or people will feel guilt about it, but it's not the person who survived its fault, right? It's not your fault. And everything that you did in order to survive it is the reason why you're here. So don't ever feel bad about that, or don't ever, you know, like, be proud that you survived, because these people, these men that do this, and and I know it's not only men, but from my experience, I'm a woman. That's all I have to go off of. They're horrible. They're horrible people. They make you fall in love with them. They're very fast to do this, right? And then they trap you, in my opinion. And, it's coercive control, isolation, just very textbook things that happen. And it's only when you get out of it and start realizing and listening to other people's stories that you'll say, wow, these people are so, like, commonplace, like, it's something that's happening all the time. And, they're not original. They're just, the run of the mill asshole, and that's the same thing goes for a woman that hits on a man, puts hands, we don't need to be putting hands on each other. Robini's like, I went to a landlocked state in Ohio. I was bad. Oh, goodness sakes. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, jeez. And I should have said a trigger warning, and because it is so terrible. No one deserves to be treated like this, ever, ever, never. Oh, okay. I heard that recently maybe the liquor store had cameras. She will be arrested today. I sure hope so, Retha. I hope they're both arrested, and I hope they're both taken into questioning, and see what the lawyer does then. Tony Fire says, Robini, the department must do a proper investigation, and the ones responsible must pay. Absolutely. I agree, Tony Fire. That is so true. Yeah, no one saw her on the ground, Mercina Ryan. No one saw her on the ground. And, it's just, a whole nother song and dance where, 1 minute the kid's there and poof, the next minute he's not there. Now we're talking about a 7-month-old baby who literally cannot make it far out of a parking lot, right? You're in a public place. There's plenty of people there. It's 7 o'clock at night, granted. Maybe that's a slower time in the evening, especially if we got, a bunch of people playing sports at that time. It seems very strategic, in my opinion. Town Check Cafe says, allegedly, Lady Freedom, there was a camera right above where she was parked, but it was disconnected, which makes sense, especially since they didn't have any working cameras. Yeah, I wonder why it was disconnected. That's strange to me. Like, that's strange to me. I mean, I worked at a hotel before, and they didn't have cameras in the back. And I'm not going to say, of course, because obviously it's not safe, but and somebody's window got busted out, and, I had to explain to them that there wasn't cameras back there. Was not a fun conversation. So I don't know why they wouldn't just, and especially if it's unplugged, why don't they just plug it in? Or I guess I don't understand. That's weird. Yeah, no police report for the attack. Well, they just said that the baby was missing. And I think police officers can I should say, I'm sure a seasoned police officer could look at her face and realize that it was healing up rather than, a fresh hit to her face, and that's my opinion too, Oh, Adam Forever 21 says, He said they found some baby clothes in the dumpster and they're not sure if they were his or not, but it's all sus to me. I get it. It's all, yeah, it's very suspicious. Did they do any testing on to see, like, was it like little onesies? Were they the same size, I wonder, as baby Haro was? Tony Fire, I agree with that. I think CPS reports need to be more transparent. I think that there needs to be a higher level of accountability. I think that with this dad's history, they should have been watching him like a hawk and making sure. I mean, they're always so quick to, be doing, drug testing on people and, putting them through that kind of court and stuff like that. But what about, making sure the parents are actually doing what they're supposed to do? I agree. And the court system is about money. It's just like anything else, in my opinion. It's terrible. And then CPS doesn't want to, ever say that they dropped the ball or that they made a mistake. They hate admitting it. It's gross. And honestly, they're not helping anyone. They're hurting someone when that happens. Where are the whistleblowers? Because we need them. We need them badly. We need people to start coming forward. But, they don't want to end up with their asses in jail either, so. They haven't been charged yet, no, Marcina. And I don't know about the 10-week-old baby. I'm not sure. It was kind of like his word against hers, but I don't think she was charged with anything. I think he ended up ultimately pleading guilty. Is my understanding, but I could be wrong on that. And I know some of the details were a little bit hazy. Morning hot cocoa seclusion. That sounds good. Tony Fire says, here we investigate, and if you find to be the one that is that, and the caseworker lets things slide, you lose your job and you can't work with kids again. And I really do believe that is what needs to happen, because they protect them too much here. They really do, Tony. They just protect them like as if they can never do any wrong, like they're not a freaking human being. And the kids are who pay the ultimate price for it, And I'm not saying that parents shouldn't be able to be given a second chance if, they're looking the other way and the kid, goes up a tree and falls out on accident, right? And hurts himself, right? Or herself. Investigate, make sure there's no neglect and stuff like that. But when you have multiple injuries to a baby's head, bleeding on the brain, multiple rib fractures that were old and they bring the baby in and now he's got a fresh, break, because a fracture is a break. It's absolutely disgusting that they just let him, skate off, Yeah, I know. And see, that's the hell of it, Robini. Says, yeah, that's happened here too, but usually only when it gets this bad and a child dies as a result. Yeah, and that's usually when we hear about it, I think that's kind of across the board everywhere, because we've seen it all over. I mean, all over. Little Josh McCoy, nonverbal autistic, 6 years old. Mom's tire tracks are right next to his body. He's found in a straight line from the mother's house, like 1.5 miles away, if that. CPS in the house, drugs everywhere, smells like feces, it's awful. It's awful. And these are the things that are allowed to be happening, and I don't get it for the life of me. Yeah, we need better oversight. We need prevention too. Absolutely, Robini. We need much better oversight before a death happens. Yeah, we need people that are willing to go a little bit extra. But, again, I do have to say that it's really, really tough when, you have people who do care, right? But their hands are tied by bureaucratic red tape and just BS, you know? Sometimes it just takes the stroke of a pen to help these kids. It's very, very sad when they fall through the cracks. Adam Forever 21, that's very true. To my understanding, this is like SoCal area, so very close to maybe running to family in Mexico. But I think the federales would get them in a heartbeat for this one. I'm hoping they're aware. It sounds like law enforcement is side-eyeing these two really, really hard, right? Because the story isn't matching up, because when inconsistencies were being brought up and Rebecca was being confronted by law enforcement, she absolutely ended the interview, and that has been alleged by law enforcement. So, again, it's not something that we can really hold against them, but it's definitely concerning. Well, that's so true, Tony. Adam, I say if you are the child's guardian, you must take full responsibility. This, we can't prove anything, bullcrap. Yeah, it's so sad. It is so sad. And whenever we have like this lapse of time, right, it's always concerning, because I don't know. Maybe I should have looked it up, and there's no real definitive way of telling. But, if you kind of get knocked out for a minute, from one blow to the face, right? You might be disoriented. You might be a little dizzy. But to be lying there in the parking lot for more than 30 minutes, I think is a little bit excessive and doesn't ring true, to somebody just being decked in the face. Now, and it just, statistically speaking, it doesn't really work either. If we're thinking about statistics, just like her man story didn't work for me either. It just didn't, because usually these children, little babies, are usually statistically taken by a woman, right? So it's very, very odd. Oh, Seclusion, I'm so sorry. Seclusion Work says, as a kid, when I told adults about my abuse, they didn't believe me. I'm glad that that outdated thinking has changed, and if a little one even whispers of abuse today, it's taken seriously. Yeah, I agree with that, Seclusion Works, and I'm so sorry. I hate to hear that. I really do, because I think children need to be believed. I'm not saying that children don't make up stories from time to time. Kids are more than capable of telling a lie. But I think that not being believed is so detrimental to a child that is developing, that is learning to be confident, and it's really the biggest miscarriage of justice to have a child tell you something, in confidence, tell you something that's happened to them, and it fall on deaf ears. I think that is one of the worst things ever, and I'm so sorry to hear that. And I think you're right. I think it's changed a lot. But there is a lot of secrecy behind some of this stuff that I don't know how much better it's really even gotten. And I hate to say that. Oh, Adam Forever 21 says, this poor sugar pie, something has happened. His forehead even looks like it's been deformed, by something. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that completely. Like somebody, like there's a dent in his forehead. Yeah. And for nobody in the family to notice that really speaks volumes. Because I know the grandma came out. Where you at, Grandma? This ain't about, that scary motherfucker. It's about this baby. Fine Sebastian says he said a bunch of stuff, and someone took a video of before the fire happened, and they saw someone with a gas can. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Fine Sebastian. My lord. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many cases that have set precedents for, abuse to be believed. Um, and I think the more that we hear about these things happening, it's like, less of a rarity, and it's like it's more commonplace. And I don't think people like realize that as much, unfortunately. You know, yeah, the reporting system is flawed, but it's working well to a certain extent. I mean, they're obviously aware. So I'd have to agree with you, Seclusion Works. I mean, it's like they're obviously aware, but what are they doing to be proactive to keep these kids safe? Like, what can we do? We're not doing good enough. We're not. None of us are. There's not one single state that can say we have the gold standard for this, not any of them. Missouri included. Don't get me started. Because they hate admitting anytime they're wrong or, anything. And, if you go through a divorce, it's like a big money pit there. Okay, the fire was at the neighbors. Yeah, Seclusion Works. And I think they should make everybody a mandated reporter. You know what I mean? Hold us all accountable. Like in case we see if we see something, say something. But that's a good thing. No, I know. And mandated reporters are held to a higher standard. And I know a lot of you guys know exactly what it is. But like teachers, for example, is a mandated reporter. Law enforcement officers, of course. But just people that are in a position of authority, nurses, medical professionals in general. If a child comes in with those type of injuries, it's mandatory that they report it. They can be held accountable if they do not report it. Whereas a regular person like you or I are not held to the same standards. But maybe we should be. I don't know. I think there needs to be some type of reform. I agree with that, Adam Forever 21. And not to be like over dramatic at all. I agree with that 100%. Why was he not charged with attempted murder also? When you have injuries to someone's head and you don't take them right away, what do you think is going to happen to this baby? I mean, my God, and this poor baby wasn't wanting to nurse, I mean, it's just sick. I agree with that. What's up, California? It's not about protecting these monsters. It's about protecting these kids. Because I don't feel sorry for them, guys. I don't. And I know it's all alleged in my opinion. But I don't feel sorry for them. I feel like I feel rage for what they've done. Yeah, exactly. Like Sebastian, and I think I kind of I don't know. Fine Sebastian says seclusion. Some people like Sebastian wasn't being believed. I really think that Sebastian was being believed. I just don't think that they were communicating like they should have been, because Chris and Katie were kind of trying to hide it. And then I also think that there's a strong possibility that CPS was trying to do, like, and we've discussed this before, but Hindsight even put out a really good video talking about how, it could be a likely situation where CPS was working with the family on like safety plans for the kids, and perhaps, like we've talked about before, that it could have been a thing where Chris Proudfoot was the problem, in my opinion, and they told him that he needed to leave the house, and then Sebastian could stay, but they couldn't have him in the house when he was the one perpetrating the crap, right? The abuse, in my opinion. Now that's all alleged, unfortunately I cannot prove that, but it's just my opinion, based on what was said by Chris Proudfoot, what I've heard from Seth, just kind of a collective, situation there. But I think, that the teachers believe Sebastian. I do. But when CPS comes in and, they're able to make it all look, all hunky-dory and everything's all great, it is deceiving, and it can be deceiving. Looks can be deceiving, and, people aren't always who they portray themselves to be. Look at Chris Proudfoot going out there, oh, hey, how you doing? No, this is not a laughing matter. Like, if that was me and some parent came out to me like that, I would have saw right through his ass. And I would have said, no, Mr. Proudfoot, I don't know what you find funny about this, but this is the second time I've been out here. I mean, I don't know. I probably lack the patience to be a social worker. We'll just put it that way. But I wouldn't think that was cute at all. As a matter of fact, that's what abusers do. They hurry up and cut you off and get to the police first so they can tell their story, and make everybody else look bad and blame everybody else. And, they're the nice one. They're the good guy. It's classic. Adam Forever 21 says, I also don't understand why would the ex-girlfriend even allow him at a football game with her children. Yeah. I wonder that too. And then, did they have the kids in these sports so they could play it off like, they were injured in a sport when really they were injured by this man? And of course, that's just allegedly, in my opinion, and what I can conclude from what we already know about his previous conviction. But, these abusers are slick. They use people as their personal punching bags. And kids. Yeah. Seclusion Work says, nods, the CPS worker broke all of the rules and should be held accountable. Yeah. I think these people should be held accountable. Hey, look, if I did something at a job and I messed up, I'd be held accountable, right? Fired or whatever it is, reprimanded, wrote up, warned, whatever it is. How come they're not held to the same standards? But yet they're public servants who we pay for their paycheck. So we need accountability, right? It's like the biggest flaw in the system, in my opinion, because we see it over and over and over again in all of these cases. One element is always present, and that's CPS involvement. And they're not doing a great job of it, right? It's almost disastrous every single time, or we're lucky enough to have caught it. But they're people too. They need to be held accountable. Just like any other job, Sebastian says, Adam Forever 21. I was wondering the same thing about attempted murder. Mercina Ryan says, so doesn't he have a probation officer he reports to? Yes, he actually has a court date coming up, September 2nd. He has a court date because he violated his probation. So he's still on probation for the incident that happened in 2018. Now listen to this. The 2018 court case that happened with this 10-week-old baby was continued out till 2023. Then he finally pleads guilty to child cruelty, which he did take a plea deal, right, and pled guilty. But then he was picked up and arrested June 2024 on possession of firearm charges because he's a convicted felon, so he's not allowed to have a firearm or ammunition, and he had both on his person in his possession, and he was arrested for that. And so now he has a September 2nd court date for violating that probation, allegedly. So, yeah. And Mercina says, doesn't he have to state he was bringing more children, which would yield CPS visits with his history? I would think so. I would think they would have his history, and I would think they would also be very aware, of the issues and, previously, especially if he still has a probation officer that would, I'm guessing do regular visits, or he would have to go report in, sometimes they'll make them, do regular drug testing, things like that. But it just kind of depends on the probation officer. Some of them are more relaxed than others. No, you're not blocked, Tony Fire. No. Oh, am I holding against them, right up against them? No. Well, I mean, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. I mean, we have to talk about it. And, it's all alleged in our opinions, but, to me, it's just not right. It's not right to shield these grown adults when there's a 7-month-old baby here. And, guys, we don't even know what this little 2-year-old has endured at the hands of this monster. Her daddy that's supposed to love her and take care of her. That man has to weigh at least 250 pounds. Allegedly, in my opinion, just looking at him. He's a big old boy, beating on little kids. What a sicko. Oh, I didn't know he was here illegally. Fine Sebastian says, do y'all think that Jake will be taken by ICE? Because I heard that he's illegally here. Well, I would hope so. I'd hope they just round his ass up. If that's how you treat your own family, good riddance. I mean, I don't know. Oh no, Tony, I don't see it. Oh my gosh, don't block Tony Fire, guys. Don't block Tony, unblock Tony. Okay, Rob Beanie says, I see you. Oh, good. Wait, what? Says, I want to cheer for the parents that are doing their best and to keep going and doing what parents do correctly. Protect the children. Yes, wait, what? Yeah. I mean, gosh, we need a story about some parents that are good people, right? We need that desperately in this community because, my, oh my, it just keeps getting worse and worse. These little babies now. I mean, what the heck is going through people's minds? I understand times are hard, but you don't take it out on the kids. They don't deserve it. They didn't ask to be here, Hey, perfectly imperfect boy mom. Mama Bear, good to see you. Mama Bear says, because babies' bones are not fully set, hardened yet until 1 to 2 years. They believe nature's way to protect them, and they're like hard rubber. It takes a lot of force to break their bones. Oh, Mama Bear. That is a great point. And the same for their little heads too, you know. Oh my goodness. And I mean, babies have that soft spot, a fontanelle, you know, on the top of their head, you know, like up here. Oh God, it's like sickening. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, "Good morning, Lady Freedom in chat. Fancy to find all you here this fine morning." Yeah, you know, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, you guys really made me think to look into this case, and I'm glad I did. You know, I mean, as hard as it is, we really, really need to talk about these things happening, as bad as they are. Yeah, that's a good point. Tony Fire says maybe YouTube. I say they should take the same stance on missing kids as they do if a police officer is harmed. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, children are the most vulnerable. Like the babies, children, all of the kids are the most vulnerable, and we're supposed to be protecting all of them. You know, as a community, as people, as the village, right? They talk about that village, but where's the village at? You know, um, Retha Bell says, wait, what? Very well said. I agree, Retha. Aw. Well, that's nice, Tony Fire. That's good. I know it's so beautiful where you're at. There needs to be a law in place, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, where adults who abuse children have to get fixed to not have more kids at the max or at the minimum, right? I agree, you know, and I'm like not about big government. I'm about people, you know, being able to make their own decisions. But here lately, I just have to say, I don't think that's too bad of an idea. And it's not too far off when you have someone like this. I mean, because he's going to another woman, right, who probably maybe didn't even know his history. You know, let's be honest. Maybe he lied to her and said, I've been wrongfully accused, and, you know, I love you, baby, and, you know, barf. Um, all of that, right? And maybe she didn't know, and maybe she was pregnant and she didn't, you know, even know um, who she was pregnant by, you know. Not that she didn't know she was pregnant. I mean, women typically do, but oh, okay, Justin is who posted it. Clutch Them Pearls posted that. Thank you, fine, Sebastian. I'll go look too. You know, I was just kind of trying to pick up all of this stuff, and oh gosh. Aretha Bell says divorce is a money pit everywhere. In my opinion, thank God it's there. Yeah, tough. Yeah, and I mean, you know, it really. I bet you it's probably the same. It's like CPS. It's like everywhere. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, and that's, you know, the ones that get rich are the lawyers. You know, and the kids are the ones that deal with it. You know, hey, Lil Redo. If you saw her pictures, it would definitely attempted. Yeah. Yeah. Little Redo says, I feel the same way. It's just so sad, Little Redo. It really is. I mean, damn, it's early. I know. It's late for me, though, but I wanted to, like I said, get in a morning live show, which I think this is probably going to work out the best in terms of, you know, finding a good balance for the day and night, because I was able to do, you know, some really good solid research and pull in a lot of different statements from a lot of different sources. um, let's see, and I think I pretty much gave all the updates that I'm aware of, except for hopefully we will have some arrests later today. I'm really hoping for that, you know. Oh, well, drive safe, Tony Fire. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Please be safe. We love Mama Bear seclusion works. Oh, Red, I never slept. I have to get 2 people arrested today. We got to pray for arrest. Isn't that terrible? But I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it. See, I feel like KK had to make a choice and she made it. Well, and I mean, yeah, Little Red. And you know what's crazy? I was talking about earlier. The Uvalde Foundation put up a reward in this case um, for the baby, right? For little Emanuel. And because the parents' stories were inconsistent and they were not adding up, they went ahead and pulled the reward, um, and the search too. And that's the same thing that happened in Sebastian's case, because they were thinking something isn't right. They're not being truthful. And it's really, really unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. But these foundations, they only have resources to help so many people. And if they're not deserving, they're not going to waste the resources. And it's so maddening, but I understand it. But it just breaks my heart, It really does. Yeah. We need a chemical warfare. Oh no, seclusion. Oh my goodness. Well, why don't they do testing on these guys? That's terrible. Why don't they bring them in the lab and do some testing on them? Allegedly, in my opinion, of course. Why didn't Rachel didn't go get checked out? Rachel, the one in Canada? That dude is a damn monster. Little Red. I mean, look at him. He's like a freaking size of an ogre, and he's putting hands on little kids like that. Like, oh, I just. There's a whole bunch of things going on over there at the Haro house. Yeah, Little Red. I heard that they were digging up some of the yard, and they also brought out the cadaver dogs. One thing that I found to be really strange, guys, and when my daughter was little, I'll show you the property really quick again because I'm gonna have to erase this and put the other one in. But my daughter loved the little swings, the baby swing, and we had one out in front of my mom and dad's house. But my dad put it up, for her, made sure it was safe and everything. But like, check the swing out. Like, does that look safe for a little baby? Like, first of all, it's too high, right? That looks like something that's super unsafe, where they could hit their head, like from one swing, like one swing too hard. I thought that was really interesting. When I saw that, I had to clip it real quick for you guys, or screenshot it rather. Oh, congratulations, little Redo. Says today is my baby's first day at the University of Texas. Oh my gosh, I hope he has the best day. Oh, I'll be sending love and good vibes. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm sure it's going to be exhausting, but a good day. I'm sending good vibes your way. She wanted the lifestyle they were living off grid and seem to have money. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the lifestyle, being a factor. I really do. Little Rena, we were talking about that. Yes. Oh no. She says, I live in a money pit. Ask Lady Freedom. Oh no. It's not terrible. It has to happen. Yeah, I agree. I do. Aretha says, I do watch Justin be caught up soon in the fire. The red vehicle left the property. The 10 month-old current pics, etc. Oh, okay. All right. I will watch it. Yeah, I will. Oh, the red vehicle left the property. See, I know they said, well, his lawyer was like, "Oh, you guys got it wrong because, they confiscated his vehicle, on Thursday." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, well, big deal. Okay, so somebody got it wrong. Okay, but moving right along, they confiscated his vehicle. That says something to me when law enforcement does that. Absolutely. I mean, they are side-eyeing, right? And they're trying to look for evidence, and they should. They need to look at it from every single aspect, in my opinion. They can't just look at it like, oh, it could be, an abduction. It could be, obviously, the baby didn't run away. Obviously, please don't anybody say that, because I can't take you seriously if you say something like that. Baby didn't run away. And with the history, I hope so, Tony Fire. I really hope so. I really hope that they are charged and convicted. And I know that laws seem to be a little bit more relaxed in California, but we really need to get it together when it comes to these kids. I mean, if we're not going to protect them, then who is? Obviously the parents can't be trusted, and that's unfortunate. I don't like to say that. I want to be like, yeah, parents can be trusted. They love their kids. No parent would do this, but it's unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Are you sure he didn't run away? Well, are you sure he did? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Well, and her story was really silly too, because she's like, I looked around the vehicle and I'm like, well, where did you expect to find him if you left him lying, on the seat, right, to the car, like you put the changing pad out. I called it the changing blanket earlier, but the changing pad out, right, you're changing his diaper, but you didn't get a chance to even change his diaper yet. You were grabbing for the diaper. Someone says "Hola," pops you in the face, right, and then you're like on the ground. I mean, I would think that the baby, as far as he would make it, would be to like roll onto the floor, right? 7 months old, right? He's not walking just yet. He's still crawling. If he had crawled down onto the, say, the parking lot, in the ground, I would think he would be crying. He would be injured. He wouldn't be able to go anywhere, right? Because he would have fallen from the vehicle onto the ground, with nothing to catch his fall, right? It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. I mean, logically, rationally speaking, it doesn't make any sense, and then she's got this time, lapse, and she apparently got to the sporting goods store around 7, and the baby wasn't even reported missing until 45 minutes later, allegedly. The math isn't mathin'. It's not cohesive. Did she get checked out at the scene and all? I would think so, Marcina. I would think so, but I don't know for sure. I mean, I would think that the police officers would see the black eye that was healing, in my opinion. I mean, it was barely there. You could kind of see it. It looks like it was a doozy when it was full on, right? But it looked like it was an older black eye, in my opinion, but I would think they would have. I would think they would have photographed her at the scene, right? Like her face, to see if she had any other defensive wounds, any of that, right? It really bothers me that there was no scent of the baby, especially because the baby had a dirty diaper, and that would be the first thing that you would think that the scent dogs would have picked up on, was the scent of the dirty diaper, at least leading investigators toward a certain route that the perpetrator, which I don't believe there was one in my opinion, but if there had been one, it would have probably led them to the perpetrator in some direction. It would be my guess that the baby would have been, taken to a waiting car, somebody else driving maybe, or something like that. if that was the case. I doubt that the baby would have been, taken, and this guy would have ran away on foot, or person would have ran away on foot. But if they had done that, the dogs should have tracked that baby, by the baby scent. So it's all wrong, in my opinion. Here the kids have low section 38. No parent or teacher may lay a hand on them. Immediate arrest. That's good, Tony Fire. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that we should allow it anymore, because I do think that people use this as a discipline, and they really think that it is disciplining them. These children, that is, in my opinion. I just don't think it should be allowed anymore. It used to be you got a crack on your ass, you did something wrong, you got a swat, and it wasn't like, abuse. It wasn't like, your parents just wailing on you. You learn nothing from that. You learn nothing but to be a scared shell of a person. You learn nothing about confidence, about what really love is. You don't learn from that. When it's abuse, you don't learn from it, in my opinion. And I think it's just, a very archaic way of handling things. Especially, like, if I think about a little girl, I know that's probably bad. It's just as bad when it happens to little boys. But I mean, like, little girls is like, really? You fucking bully? But I feel like that about, Sebastian's stepdad. Like, I don't think he was using that as any type of, like, tough love or whatever. No, he was doing it because he's an abusive asshole, and that's who he is. And, Sebastian showing a teacher, and he slipped up and said it, not me, by the way. Don't come for me, because that was his words, not mine. Tony Fire says if they report the parent to a teacher, they must get the CPS involved, and the teacher stays a part of the whole process. Very strict. Yeah, I think that's important, and I think that would help a lot with, like, the kids feeling that they have someone on their side, because it has to be so defeating. The story that Chris Proudfoot tells about how, he came back and told Sebastian, eat your food. No, you didn't get me in trouble. Eat your food. Like, that had to have been so defeating, if it's the truth. And again, a lot of things that comes out of his mouth is a lie, and he doesn't realize how stupid he sounds, in my opinion. Mercina, yeah, absolutely, especially if it was a dirty diaper. Yeah, she said that when she pulled into the sporting goods store, she had smelled that the baby needed a fresh diaper. And so she decided, when she pulled over, she pulled the baby out. She described being, behind the driver's seat. And then, like I said, I just picture her, lying a blanket down or whatever, and changing his diaper. But she didn't even get that far. She says that she went to go grab that diaper, and, that's when it all happened. So, and I would have asked her too, like, was there any diapers missing? Was, did they, take anything that the baby would need, right? Like a bottle or anything like that. Like, I don't know what was asked. I really don't, unfortunately. I know. Well, and it's terrible, Tony Fire. It is, and it is absolutely corrupt, in my opinion, especially to make a child feel bad about something. Oh, amen. Perfectly imperfect boy, ma'am. How do you discipline a 10-week-old and an 8-month-old? Exactly. What sort of discipline physically would they understand at that point? They wouldn't understand. It would be like, I mean, typically when you learn a lesson, it's because you remember what happened, right? These babies, they have no recollection. They have no remembering this. You know, I mean, a baby doesn't understand even being put in timeout until they're probably 2 years old. I mean, and really, like you said, what can they possibly do that's that bad? You know, they throw a temper tantrum, big deal, they're a baby. I've seen grown ass adults that throw worse ones, you know, and I have no, I have no sympathy for them, you know. But a baby, it's like it's expected, you know, it's just expected. It's amazing to me how these people get angry too when the babies cry. It's like, how are you angry that this baby's crying? They're either hungry, they need to be changed, or they're tired. It's like, it's not, there's not like a whole laundry list of things, right? It's only a few things that it could be, right? Or they're sick. Maybe they have an earache and maybe they're crying. Maybe they're cutting teeth. You know, as they get older, there's more things that could be. Some babies have colic, though. They cry and cry and cry, you know, or colicky, whatever you want to call it. But it's not their fault. They need to be taken care of. You know, sometimes they have gas in their little tummies. I know that was one thing when Livy was a baby. I was eating too much dairy stuff, and it was coming through when I was nursing, and, you know, that's what we figured out. And I just had to cut back on that, you know, because her little tummy would get like really, really hard and stuff like that. And I was like, I wonder why she's crying and stuff. Like, it's like something's hurting her, you know? And so I took her in, and it was that. Just an easy fix, you know? But you can't get frustrated because the baby's crying. There's a reason why they're doing that. That's the only way they can communicate. Like, duh. I don't know. It's just. Think you wait, what? Town Chat says, of course, she's going to say that they took the baby before she changed the diaper, because in my opinion, allegedly, there was no baby present to change. Well, I mean, I'm wondering the same thing. I really am, you know, because it's been alleged that there was no baby at the football game. And it's always these little mistakes that's going to catch them up, right? Because somebody's going to be like, hey, I didn't see her with the baby, you know. People are going to talk. Little Red says, I forgot to say hello to all of you. Yeah. Well, and that's it, Tony. Like, it's like, you know, I think we've just come so much farther where we realize, you know, too, like, you know, there's certain things that work and certain things that don't. And I mean, honestly, you know, my big thing is like, you know, if you teach kids that like hitting is the best policy, then, you know, they're going to go to school, they're going to hit one of their classmates, and then you're going to sit there and get mad at them because they hit a classmate. But that's how you deal with things. So what do you expect? You know, that's just my take on it. And I, you know, yeah, cry because they pooped. Exactly. And it's just like, all they need is a diaper change. Oh, there we go. Some babies hate getting their diaper changed, you know, and it's like, you know, they cry because they don't want to be changed, you know, but then once they're changed, they're okay. You know, I mean, and if you think about it, it's not the best thing. Aw, thank you. Hey, Jude. Sugar Magnolia says I could go full on Harley Quinn on him. Totally. Oh yeah. I would have to call because of, oh yeah, I pity the fool. And that's all I'll say. You need a nice sweet Coca-Cola. Tony Fire. In my opinion, I wonder if something allegedly happened when when that other person passed away, and maybe there was a major fight, and that was when something happened. Oh, okay. The other person passed away. Which one is that? I'm sorry, Town Chat. Allegedly, the other person. and maybe there was a major fight. See, and I didn't get to see all of Justin's too, so, or, well, I didn't watch Justin's yet. It took my wife's love and her family to let me heal. I didn't have any concept of family or love until then, and I healed and put the past to rest. Yeah, I mean, what a difference love and compassion and care can make. I mean, what a difference. You know, I believe it's everything. I believe that's all it really takes, you know? And especially when it comes to little babies, they're precious souls, and they are born without malice, in my opinion. I don't think anyone's born evil, in my opinion. Mercina Ryan says she had DUIs in the past. Did anybody do a test on her or smell any alcohol on her? Oh, I didn't know about that. You know, I would think the police would. But that's a good question. She might have been hiding it, and then in the midst of everything, yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to look into that. Mom's DUIs. Yeah, that's interesting. Or was it like, because I know some places it's just under the influence of like something. So like it could be even prescription meds or something. So maybe she was on substances, but not alcohol. Because I know some places is like driving under the influence of, you know, whatever. Thank you, Retha. I feel so bad because today I'm like revved up, you know, but I was not expecting to hear this about the 10-week-old. And of course it's all alleged, but that little baby, oh my God. The kids always help too. Seclusion, that's the big one, you know. People need to appreciate kids, in my opinion. Seclusion work says the kids help too. I discovered I am a good person. Yeah, well, kids are a good judge of character. They really are. They really are. Because in my opinion, they haven't been, you know, tainted by the world yet. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, so they kidnapped a baby with a poopy diaper. I mean, I mean, if it was me, I'd wait till the diaper was changed before I snatched the baby. I mean, in theory, you know, or at least take a diaper with you, you know, so you can clean the poor baby up right away. No kidding. You know, it's always something so unbelievable. You're so right. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. That is such a great point. You know, the little things that they forget, you know. Little Redo says, so proud of you, Seclusion works. Yes. And, you know, that is so sweet, right? Hey, Jude. And that's where, I don't know, little kids are just so sweet and cute, you know, like they could just brighten your day, and they say the funniest things. Like, it's just so hilarious to hear like their take on life, you know, as little people. And they are little people, and they deserve respect. I mean, I know people are like, oh, kids should be seen and not heard. Well, I mean, yeah, you can't be letting them be disrespectful all around, but I mean, come on, you know, you'd be surprised out of the mouths of babes, the things that you'd hear. Teething tablets. Yeah. I mean, it's just like there's always something, you know, and if a baby won't stop crying, you know, there may be something medically wrong. You know, they may need to go to urgent care, you know. And it, you know, it also just reminds me of little Aaliyah, you know, like there were so many times where they were taking that baby to the ER and they were just sending her home. And then she's diagnosed with, you know, a rare form of leukemia, you know, and thank God she had good people around her, you know what I mean? And they're just not like, oh gosh, this baby won't stop crying. Like, how horrible. Lil Redo says, let's say it is a man that kidnapped a baby with a poopy diaper and no one saw anything. Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, is like typically, well, statistically speaking, and I will say it like that too, they were talking about how it's really rare to have a man to kidnap a baby, like a little newborn baby. Like usually it's a woman that does that, like statistically. Not to say that it's like impossible or whatever, like because nothing is impossible. Um, and but typically it just doesn't happen that way. And then I wonder if the mother was watching something like that, or the father was, and was like, hey, change the story to someone, said Ola, instead of what actually happened. I mean, it kind of reminds me of what was that movie? Well, I mean, but she still went with him, Raising Arizona. She's like, I want that baby high, and then he went and got her a baby. Oh my Lord. Aw, Sugar Magnolia says, I'm gonna have to really pray. I'm praying with you, Sugar Magnolia. It is. It's so difficult. It's just so difficult to hear. And like I said, I wasn't even anticipating it. Oh, Lil Redo says the brother died in that house of an overdose. I didn't know that. So there could be drug use. Okay. News Nation says, Tone Check Cafe says, allegedly there was a self-unaliving recently with a relative. From what I heard, I think it was on News Nation. Okay, I only watched 2 clips from News Nation, so I'll have to go back and check that out. Yeah, and who knows, she could have been coping and self-medicating, Sugar Magnolia. If I was her, I would drink too. Yeah, I mean, she could have been doing that, and it's a lot easier to take a beating from a man. Yeah. Oh, okay. That was the ex, not the mom, who had DUIs. Oh, okay. Um, Vanessa. I was almost called her Veronica. Vanessa. I have it written down. Loretto, that's it. Thank you. But supposedly there was a conversation, if that was really happened, or I don't know. It was really confusing because I was trying to listen when multitasking. Oh, it's a lot to take in too, because it's like you don't even think, like, it's just so horrific. You just don't even think that it could be real. Thinking about how somebody could hurt a tiny little infant. No, Sugar Magnolia, you're not acting out. You're good. For the fact that she hit her head, you would think that she would get checked out so that you would know while they were checking her out that they would have been a thing, because if she got hit in a concussion or concussed, yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I did read up on. Like, you can, become dizzy or disoriented or even have a concussion from being, punched even one time in the eye, according to Google. Because I was thinking, like, would one blow, and if it was from a man, yeah. If it was from a woman, could be too. It just depends on how hard the blow was, according to Google. We all do hate Judas, right? That's right. Yeah. And especially, like, if you're just familiar with trauma, it comes with the territory. There's no perfect victim either. It's what you did to survive it. You know what I mean? It's how you got over it. It's how you are still here. No shame. She Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom said she had several DUIs while pregnant with her daughter. Oh no, but she was born healthy and now only 3% brain function, along with other severe issues after they abused her. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible. I had no idea about that Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Yikes, that is so terrible. Crappy diaper matches the crappy story. Town chat 100. Yeah, completely. Luckily, the son and daughter from the ex Vanessa were both adopted to a family member that loves and cares for them. Oh, amen, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mama. I'm so glad to hear that. Because I think about the other kids in this situation. I can't help it. I think about Jaden's brothers and sisters too. I really do, because please don't let these other kids fall through the cracks. Like, make sure all these kids are safe. We cannot, time is of the essence. We cannot wait. We need to make sure that these kids are away from these monsters, as far away from them as possible. I could give two shits about their rights. I really could give two shits. Little Red says kids and dogs know when bad people approach. I agree with that. Yeah. Well, and there's always a reason too. A lot of times they've dealt with horrible humans before too, which is awful. Kids and animals are true healers. I agree with that, Tony Fire. I agree with that 100%. Some people just don't deserve to have that wonderful peace in their life. They just don't. Aw, Sugar Magnolia says that's why I rescue dogs. Oh, that's so sweet. They need to be rescued. Same thing with cats and, just animals in general. People can be so horrible. Aw. Seclusion Work says my nephew was in our care while his mom was sick. He was a joy and I enjoyed caring for him. I had more hands on him than my wife. Little ones certainly teach you a few things. Yeah, well, they do. And, it's just funny, some of the things that they come up with, like, because they are still learning, but their perception of the world is so much different and so much more innocent and pure, in my opinion, So some of the things they say is just like adorable. And sometimes some of the things that they say can really shock you if you're listening to what they're saying, Some people are like, oh, don't bug me, they don't want to have nothing to do with the kids, they just want to be left alone half the time, it makes me wonder. I'm like, what do they want these kids, like, never to talk and never to interact with them or anything. Good morning, Butter Biscuit. Good to see you. The older kids were intrigued and fought over who will play or change him. Aw, that's cute. Yeah. Well, and it's always nice to teach kids, how to take care of, their younger siblings and things like that. It's really, important. It's kind of like learn it now or learn it later, but, oh, thank you, Tony Fire. Tony Fire says, I need to run to the store before it's too late to go. Nice to see you all again. Great time slot, Lady Freedom. Prayers for answers for Sebastian and little baby Emanuel. Bye-bye, guys. Till next time. Bye, Tony Fire. And thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you like this time slot. I do, too. I think we're going to keep it. So thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm liking it because it's going to be a little bit easier for me to get used to. I was like, oh, I could just sleep for a couple hours. I'm like, oh, that was getting a little tough. So, I'll be in the bush, the real bushes, Tony. Absolutely. Retha Bell says, Town Chat and Sugar Magnolia, you are both doing noble work. Thank you. Yeah, and I do believe that, guys. I know that people will say, like, you know, it doesn't help to talk about it, or what are you doing to help if you're just talking? But I think it does. I think the more people talk and the more people share what's going on, the better. Awareness is so key, you know. Good morning, y'all, from Southern Tennessee, or Southern Middle Tennessee. Thank you for being here, Sugar Magnolia. Yeah, it was either News Nation or News Nation, I think. Yeah, it was either a news station or News Nation. Thank you, Town Chat. Say that 7 or 8 times fast, right? I think tongue twisters in the morning. Butter Biscuit says you should compare photos from the dad's other daughter to the photos of Emanuel. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna have to get some of the photos because I haven't really. I don't know about this. I just found out about this other baby. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I heard people last night coming in from Justin's, and everybody was really, really sad. I could tell, like, the vibe in chat and things like that. And then when I went through, I was like, oh, no wonder. Well, that's true, Little Red, because I showed the house and they had the big solar panels and stuff, and it looked like a little compound, right? Little Red says there is cartel drug use and drug selling, living off the grid. He is here illegally. Well, ICE needs to get on it. You know what I mean? Like, they need to go pick him up if he's not supposed to be here, acting a fool. Why didn't they deport him when they got him the first time? Like, why is he still able to walk around doing his dirt? Chuchi, good to see you. You know, that it just makes me like extra mad. You know, so it's okay, you're here illegally, so illegal already, you're illegal. But oh man. Butter Biscuit says, can I post a link that shows the older daughter from dad and what happened to her from yes, Butter Biscuit. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. Okay, just bear with me 1 second. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much. Okay, I got a message from Jude. Okay, awesome. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah. California's a sanctuary state. I don't know how, or I don't know. I think possibly. I didn't know if it was a statewide or if there were sanctuary cities. I thought it was just certain cities. Thank you, Hey Jude. Let me take a look. This thing kicks me off. Such a pain in my rear. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's see. Let me just grab my hotspot really quick. It's like, hi, iPhone. Recognize iPhone already. Pain in the patoot. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm still here. Oh, I just got your message too, Miss Ann. Messenger. All right, hold on 1 second. Oh my, oh my. Oh gosh. Lord help us all. I'm serious too. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, guys, just bear with me a second here. Son of a bitch. Okay, guys, obviously alleged in my opinion, but I mean, look at that little baby. That's supposedly the, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that is the 10-week-old baby. Oh Lord, hey Kiki. Oh, I'm so sorry you're sick, hon. I know that we had talked a little bit. I didn't know you were still feeling under the weather. Oh my Lord, guys. Thank you for being here, Kiki. It's a compound, Little Red. It looks like a compound to me. Oh my God. Okay, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says Abby Blabby is the one who released photos of the baby girl. I believe it was with parents' permission. Well, I mean, people need to see this child is obviously disabled as a result of abuse, in my opinion. If this is in fact the baby, the 10-week-old baby, grown up, um, needs assistance of, obviously a wheelchair. Um, oh, they need to put him in prison. They need to hold him. If look, they could haul him in. If he's here illegally, they could just pick him up, right? I mean, there's your reason, law enforcement. Where you at? Hmm. Marcina says Clutchton Pearls has a lot of it into. Oh gosh. Key says my question also is why, or excuse me, is what is the gated area across from the home? Looks like there was mulch, tires, sand, really weird. Oh, I didn't see around the area of the home, Kiki. Huh. Now, is this area like a rural? Thank you, Hey Jude. Is this like a rural area, guys? Like, I mean, because it does look like they're trying to kind of live off grid with the. I mean, not to say that everybody has who has solar panels or is living off grid, or they may just be trying to save on the because certain times you will get money off your bill if you have solar panels. So it's not always just to live off grid. Yes, thank you so much, Butter Biscuit. My goodness. Oh, Dolly flew up to California. Chuchi says this case every day gets deeper and deeper with criminals and abusers, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I know that there's a lot of good people here. I'm not trying to say that everybody that's illegal should, I mean, I'm not trying to say that, and I really don't want to get political about it. But I mean, if this is the kind of thing that is going on, this child does not deserve that. In my opinion, she would not be in the position that she's in now if it wasn't for this monster. And by all means, whatever you have to get him on whatever you got to get him on. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, look, but I'm just over it. I don't feel sorry for this scumbag. And anybody that abuses a child is not okay with me in any way, shape, or form. I don't even care if, it's psychological, mental stuff that you have no idea, subtle, any of that stuff. It's not okay. Look at this precious young girl. And look at this baby. I'm sorry. I don't think Emanuel was born the way that we see him today. And I'm just going to say that allegedly, in my opinion. This is really leading me to believe that this child has also endured horrific abuse, just like this little girl. And Butter Biscuit, thank you for the side-by-side, because this is just, I mean, I know it's hard to look at, but we have to. Seclusion, I know. It's such a bad case, Retha. Aw. Kiki, I'll be praying for you. I know it's like kind of getting to that time of the year when it's going to start, getting to be that time of the year where everybody's getting sick or catching, stuff, and back to school. Oh my goodness. I think so too, Butter Biscuit. I hate to say it, but we need to look at these things. I mean, if we take two healthy children who are obviously healthy at birth, and this is the condition they're in after being in the care of this monster, I mean, the least we can do is observe. The least we can do is say, this is not right and we need to do better. And why is this person out and only on probation? Because to my knowledge, this person didn't spend any time in jail. His lawyer saved his butt and continued it and continued it and continued it. Where's the justice? Because I'm not seeing any. And I'm not feeling sorry for this guy. Thank you, Kiki. I appreciate you. Oh, Chuchi, it's like, Chuchi, it's like oh my gosh. I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm like, a whole range of emotions. It makes me sick at my stomach, for him. These are beautiful kids and they don't deserve this crap. It's absolutely horrific. He was charged but only got work release. Yeah, because he should be in the community. That's where he needs to be. And how is he getting work release if he's in fact illegal? The cousins are good people and adopted the baby. Aww. Well, thank God for that. Thank God for them. Of course, Kiki, of course. He needs to be under the jail. Hey, Jude. I mean, like never to see the light of day again. Put him with a bunch of inmates that really miss their kids. Why don't we do that? Let's give him the special treatment. Because even these hardened criminals aren't okay with any of this. Let's show them a picture like this and see how they feel after. Oh, that's a good idea, Little Reddo. I need to volunteer the same. I need to find the shelter here. I don't know what we have here, but I do need to look into that and volunteer as well. I think that's a great cause. I really do. Or even like the Big Brothers Big Sister program and things like that. Those are things that are just so important for kids, and you could really make their day and they could really make your day. She was adopted by her cousins after he beat her. Oh my God, Butter Biscuit. It's just absolutely horrific to think that anybody could hurt a baby like that. A child, another human, anything. I know, Seclusion. I'm like that too. I'm very much a creature of habit, and when my habits are disturbed, I do not know what to do with myself either. I completely understand. Abby has more photos. Oh, Butter Biscuit. Oh my goodness. Hey, Lolo. Lolo says he only served 180 days for doing that to her. Okay, so he served time, but 180 days. That just doesn't seem right. And then work release. Yeah, no, he deserved to never get out. That should have been attempted murder, in my opinion. It's in the mountains. Oh, okay. Loretto says it's in the mountains. So it's pretty secluded up there. And, you know, I mean, that's the MO for these abusers. They love to isolate. They love to isolate so that way they can control. Oh, they're hiding or were hiding. Hell no, solar is a damn joke. I know, like, in Missouri, they were selling that sun solar stuff like crazy, and then people would be able to get a break on their utility bill, but it wasn't anything, like, huge. You know what I mean? Like, nothing that you would think. Oh, Retha says close to a reservation. Thank you. Hey, Jude says full credit. YouTube, true strategic eyes. I mean, it's unbelievable. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I don't think he is illegal. Okay, well, that changes things a little bit because then they can't haul him in for that. Beautiful little girl. Does anybody know what her name is by any chance? I agree, Butter Biscuit. I mean, this is the conclusion that I come to when we see something like this. I come to the same conclusion. Call me wrong and hateful, but some humans need to be fixed so they can't reproduce again and have another child to harm. I mean, it just seems like that's, you know, what they use as coercive control, you know, over a mother, and then, you know, they're hurting the children. If it happens once, I mean, obviously it's going to happen again. And that's, you know, my opinion. But I mean, if he went through a whole year, they're saying, of this parenting courses or crap child abuse courses or whatever. Oh, that's a good question. Hey, Jude, is the father Native American? Father in quotes, because yeah, no father that I know would ever do this to their child. No good father, no real father. Supposedly who worked at Walmart. Let me say this, Walmart doesn't pay enough to live like they do, and she did not work. That's a good point. That is a good point, Lil Red. I mean, I wonder, like, what he did at Walmart. Like, because even, like you said, yeah, the cashiers and stuff like that, I can't see them being able to afford that lifestyle, you know, just on his dime. Chuchi says, I don't feel sorry for the wife. I definitely don't feel sorry for Jake. I don't feel sorry for Vanessa. I do feel sorry for these poor children they brought into this world, in my opinion. It's very hard to have sympathy for any of the parents, in my opinion. Any of them, right? Because it doesn't really matter to me either who looked up how to feed the baby who has broken ribs. Somebody obviously knew that those babies' ribs had been broken, you know, and they said that they heard a crackle, quote, a crackle, and that's when they took the baby to the hospital. No, I don't feel sorry for them. It's just not okay. Lil Red says, not Native, in my opinion. Okay. Hey, Jude says apparently Dolly is going to California. Very interesting. well, I hope he has safe travels. I will say that. Town Chat says, I'm just speechless, and this is so heartbreaking to see these poor babies. Yeah, it is. It is heartbreaking, you know? It didn't have to be this way. It's just so sad, Town Chat. And yet another baby, you know, falling victim to this monster. That side by side is thanks to Abby. I got it from another YouTube creator. Thank you. I think I've heard of Abby before. I want to say I've seen Abby on Facebook. Thank you, Butter Biscuit. And thanks to Abby. Thank you, Abby, for. I'm thinking. See, okay, Jude. I went to school with a gal named Haro. I did the same spelling and everything, and she's Mexican. So I was under the impression that this family is by the last name. Now I could be wrong. Lil Redo says he lawyered up with whose money. Well, and it's my understanding, Lil Redo, that this guy was his defense attorney during the whole time. Poor babies. The whole time, and I think it's on this side. That from 2018 when this happened with this other little girl. And again, guys, drop her name in chat. I really would like to know what her name is. I had no idea that it was so severe. Chi-Chi says, I have a feeling him and his lawyer will in this blame this on his wife and say she is the abuser and much more, in my opinion. Well, look, he doesn't give a crap about her legal representation. He's only worried about his. That is a tall sign of an abusive prick if I've ever seen one myself. You know, don't worry about her representation. I'm worried about covering my ass. You know, of course you are. You should be. I hope they fry you for this. I think the wife will be blamed too, Lil Red. You know, it's just par for the course. These guys don't take responsibility for the crap that they do, in my opinion. You know? Butter Biscuit says, I had a Catholic nun as a big sister. My mom raised me, but wanted her to be my big sister, and she had to get approval from Catholic Church. And I was raised Baptist and had a nun big sister. Yeah, Butter Biscuit. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with it. And, you know, I thought it was so beautiful, like in Jaden Spicer's case. And I'll show you guys really quick. Our friend Brandon sent this over to me last night. And this is the casket that Father donated. Father Jim, I believe is his name. And I should have wrote it down. I hope I got that right. You know, and I've had a lot of nuns that were very good. Some of them were very scary. I will admit. But, you know, and I've known so many good priests like that. I just felt very comfortable going to, and, you know, I think that's wonderful. But, you know, I don't know what Jaden's denomination is, but I do know that everybody's coming together at the funeral home. You know, everything's going to be taken care of, and he's going to be buried the proper way that he deserves to be. And this is his Spider-Man casket, you know. Hey, Freebird, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Aw. Perfectly aw. They renamed their new family. Good for them. I'm sorry, guys. I must have missed something there. When I switch over, sometimes that happens. Let me see if I can go up. Okay, here we go. Oh, Faith is her name. Oh. Okay, so Faith. Churchy says, Promise Faith is her name. Promise Faith. Oh. Loretto says, oh, I can tell you a story on solar it would help with, all right, it would have cost us money to invest in solar, then buy back unused electric for less than a penny less than a penny a watt. Oh wow, it's that low? Wow. I thought it was higher than that. Wow. That's interesting. So were they totally living off, I mean, because even just that one solar panel, I wouldn't think would be able to accommodate that whole area. Thank you, Churchy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Promise faith. Precious, I believe, is the baby girl's name. That's what they renamed her. It was something else. Oh, they renamed her. Okay. Will Rudd says if he was Native American, the reservation would have charged and prosecuted him on the reservation. Yeah, that's true. I believe that to be true too. Like they would have had jurisdiction, so to speak. Tribal would have had it, you know. It is so sad, Freebird. Good morning. I know it is so sad. Like I couldn't even have braced myself for any of this. I really couldn't have. I had no idea. Oh, okay. The Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says the parents renamed her once adopted Promise and Carlos. Okay, so the little boy's name is Carlos. Aw. He's as cute as he can be too. Was that one of their other little babies or their kids? Or is that a cousin? I wonder. Ooh, baked goodies for the storm, Seclusion. That sounds good. Yes, candy is always good. In my opinion, Butter Biscuit says he's side hustled. I work at Walmart and couldn't afford brand name clothes. Yeah, and then look at him wearing brand name clothes. Like, I think he was wearing like American Eagle Outfitters or whatever. And she's wearing just like run-of-the-mill clothes. Like, that's always a tall tale sign, right? That you're dealing with a narcissist. You know, he's the most important. You know, he should get name brand clothes, but you get, you know, peanuts. So typical. That is so cute that they renamed their new family. Good for them. Goodbye, Butter Biscuit. I hope you have a great day at work, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you sending that out because, my goodness, Sugar Magnolia, he's a huge jerk. And he very well could be a part of that. You know, Lil Red, you know, there's many things that could be true. And, you know, even if all of those things are not true, I mean, what's obviously being alleged to be true is that he is an abusive scumbag. Candace Wallace had a baby who was taken for abuse, and look at Summer. Bingo. Hey, Jude. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's always this element, right? Abuse, CPS, SA, right? All of that. All of those things that are involved are, nothing good comes of it, you know? Oh, okay. Especially on this case. Okay. Good. Perfectly a Perfect Boy Mom. I was thinking that too. I was like, I know I've seen Abby before. So good. Facebook. Yeah. I will definitely go back and look. Aw. You too. Hugs and kisses to Butter Biscuit. Butter and Biscuit. Aw. We love Butter Biscuit and we love Butter and Biscuit. Yes, Jude, and he was beaten to where he had lifelong brain injuries. It's just gross. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I know the dad's family is Hispanic, but the mom's maiden name, I can't tell you where it originates from, but I think it's also Hispanic. Yeah, I'd never heard the mom's maiden name either. Um, you know, I'm not sure, but I didn't think they were native because, like Little Red was saying, I think that's when it would go over to the reservation law, so to speak. Um, so Sugar Magnolia says, I'm Cherokee and Cree on my mama's side and Irish on my daddy's. That's a good combination. I think a lot of us are, melting pot USA. I know I am. Um, Aw, thanks, Loretto. I appreciate you being here. No, Sugar Magnolia. I got it equally as hot. Don't apologize. These are things that should like piss everybody off across the board. If like you see this and you're okay with it, reevaluate. I honestly, because I mean, there's nothing that makes me more upset, than seeing children who are abused in the womb and then abused in life, to this extent. No abuse is okay, but just to see this is utterly horrific. A lot of people in Tennessee are Native American on one or both sides. Yeah, well, and a lot of Hispanic people have Native, American ties as well. Um, so it does make me wonder. I know, isn't that sweet, Town Chat? Jaden deserves the best. He really does. And it's lovely to see people coming together to make sure that he gets the very best. Aretha Bell says, Lady Freedom, the nuns get it done. That's so true. That is so true. And, a lot of times, the priests are, the calm, nice ones. That's terrible. No, not always. I've had a lot of really, really good nuns as teachers and things. It is, it's bittersweet. Hey, Jude says that casket is sweet but super sad. Yeah. Um, I just so wish that Jaden would have had the kind of life that he deserved. And I agree. Hey, Jude, it is. It is sad to me. Um, what a little cutie pie, you know. Good morning, Blessed. Thank you for being here. Yeah, they did have a huge row. And I don't know, Little Red, like much about, how much that would accommodate for, because it is a big row. It is quite a big row. The power lines burned up in the fire yesterday, Retha Bell says. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they were trying to hide something, in my opinion. Hey, Ice and Fire, good to see you. Okay. Chi says, Carlos was one of the other kids, Lady Freedom. Oh my gosh. I just don't see how they can get away with doing this now to all of these children and it's all okay. Hey, GA64, I feel like that fire was set to cover up evidence, Retha Bell. Yeah, I'm guessing too, GA64. That's my best guess, without knowing for sure. It's kind of odd that occurred. I'm not saying that coincidence don't happen, but, Chi says, I agree, GA. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard not to think of that when look at these people, you know. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says Carlos was Jake and Vanessa's son also, and he was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Oh my God. Mm. Yeah. Retha Bell said, I suspect so as well about the fire, and I haven't slept just wanting to know more. Yeah, I know. Well, there is so much coming out, rapid fire. Um, really, because I caught probably like maybe 6 videos in between, just watching the coverage of Nancy Grace, Vinny, um, Ashley Banfield. Ashley Banfield handed him his ass. I loved it. Um, yeah, looks like Shaken Baby, Sugar Magnolia, but also, these kids could have been, born with fetal alcohol, like what's been being said here, and I believe it. If mom's drinking, look, you can't drink when you're pregnant. Please don't. Please, I'm begging you guys. We know so much better now. Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't do any of that stuff. Please. It can absolutely harm your baby, and the babies don't deserve that. I agree. Yes. Chi says we need a huge whiteboard for this case to connect all of the dots. Yeah, and I think there's so much more to it, right? Because obviously they're lawyering up for a reason. I mean, that screams guilt, and again, it's their right. But when you stop cooperating, it's a big red flag, in my opinion. Read the bell says I have a bunch of Irish, therefore the red hair. Yeah, and see, I don't know. I don't know how it works. If how like much of a percentage you would have to be for to to get the tribe involved. I'm not sure about that. That's an interesting point because Churchy says I have 1% indigenous in my blood. Yeah. Hey, Stephanie Williams, good to see you. Oh, crud, I didn't mean to drop that link. I've been listening, getting ready to go to the doctor for this baby. The parents are guilty as heck. In my opinion, the fire is sus to me. Absolutely, Stephanie. And I hope you have a good doctor's appointment today. It's completely suspicious. All of it. All of the series of events, even the story in the parking lot is unbelievable to me. Like some random person saying, hola, and then I think of like, and I don't know how often they do this, but, like back in the day when they'd have like, the lineup, right? And then there'd be a phrase that they'd tell them to say, right? Like, hola, and then they would have her looking at them through double pane glass or however you say it, two-way. And, they would have them say it. And if none of them was the guy, maybe one of them was. One sound, does it sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, that police lineup? I don't know how often they do that anymore. But still. Hey, Ann Reynolds. Yes, I love Sugar Magnolia. It's such a great Dead song. Yes. Yes. We also have Scarlet Begonias that comes in here too. It is a tough case. It is such a tough case. My great grandmother was 100% Cherokee Indian, says Kiki. Yeah, that is so cool. I'd always like to do a, like, what is it? Ancestry.com or something like that would be neat. Oh, I got you. Little Red says if you have the CDIV card as part of a recognized tribe, they take over. Yeah, I'm guessing they don't have that. It's just, and I could be wrong, or it could come out later. But I think it would be a whole different ball game, Oh, thank you so much, Sugar Magnolia. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you. We're a good bunch over here. We just kind of cover the true crime stuff, and Thank you, Hey Jude. And boy, I never know what I'm getting myself into these days, because these cases, I don't know, guys, are just becoming more and more outrageous. And I don't know if it's because, oh, thank you, Kiki. Kiki's another channel, guys. Go check out Kiki's channel. She's awesome. You know, I don't know if it's just like we're just more aware now, or what is happening here. But I mean, like, every time I turn around, it gets worse and worse, you know? We have 10-year-old little Jaden, you know? We have Sebastian Rogers, who was 15 when he went missing. He's 16 now. This beautiful little child. And then not only this beautiful little child, we have another little girl, you know, Precious Faith, or, you know, and Carlos. I mean, how terrible. I mean, and here's this monster. Oh, let's feel sorry for him. Let's play the violin. Not over here, we're not. She's lying, we're all crazy. We are all crazy, Hey Jude. We're crazy in a good way, though. Thank you, Hey Jude. Well, this crap is enough to drive us all mad. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Kiki. I would never know. I got to do an ancestry, or I would never know, you know? Sugar Magnolia says, Kiki, we are going to pull a Harley Quinn, or generally show them what we are made of. That's funny. Gosh. You know, vigilante justice would be good, but I am willing to see what the police do here, because look, they kind of seem like they've been side-eyeing the story from the beginning. So I really have faith that there's going to be some swift justice. I just hope that they get enough on this guy to put him away for as long as they can, because this, you know, fast-talking lawyer in his red suit, you know, he seems like he knows how to be very convincing when he needs to be, unfortunately. There's no justice if they got money. Seems like they are the ones getting away with those crimes, in my opinion. This world is so bad. Yeah, Stephanie, I agree. And, you know, for whatever price, as long as you have that money to pay the defense attorney, unfortunately, you know, you could be getting away with some of this stuff. I just don't understand why it's acceptable to the courts when it comes to these children. It's just like they're the most vulnerable little teeny tiny people, right? They're like newborn children, right? Little infants. My violin is broken. Gigi says, yeah, mine too. I kind of, you know, bashed the violin when I heard about this crap for this family. Yeah. You know, when I heard about it, I broke the violin on purpose. In my opinion, California seems to have no laws. Yeah, it's kind of getting worse. I'm wondering what the heck's going on, you know? Because it's not okay for the kids. GA64 says yes, but it did not show anything. Well, they need to do something more. Jude says, same here. You know, they do. They need to do something more in order to really protect the kids. You know, if, like I said, it's a pattern. It's not something that you can take. Obviously, a year classes or whatever abuse classes he took was not sufficient. You know, I mean, these people are manipulative. They really are. They can say, oh, look at me, I'm doing so good. And then they're still steady beating up on kids. You know, I mean, it's wrong. And I don't feel sorry for the adults. I can't. Not when there's a baby involved. Not when there's little children involved. Sugar Magnolia, that's cool. I love Fish. Fish is a good band, in my opinion. Very cool. I'm seriously going to write some letters about monsters walking around like this and not being on a registry, in my opinion. I think that's a great solution, Kiki, getting these people on a registry. Yeah, you should have to go register as a child abuser if you have done something this horrific to a child. And really, I mean, arguably, does it have to get this bad? Really? I mean, maybe the first time that you use excessive force on a child, but a baby, like, there's no reason. Like, I don't know. I just don't agree with any of it. I don't agree with, like, even, I mean, at what point does that teach a child a lesson, in my opinion? Farmhouse, Sugar Magnolia. Oh, Kiki says, did you listen to Nancy Grace and the CPS worker? And the attorney was fired up. Seems they're taking up for these parents. Yeah. She was, she's like, when you have a baby, she did, I actually, Nancy brought me to tears when she was saying that, because I agree. As a mama, you're like, the minute that you realize you're going to be a mom, that's when you start, doing different. You're living differently. You're eating healthier. You're. I mean, gosh, I had one of those like. It was like a baby monitor, but then also you could listen to the baby's heartbeat if you put like the headphones on your belly. But I would also play music. I would also read to my daughter. And I mean, if moms would focus on that experience and not on, still drinking and drugging and, everything else, these kids would come out healthier. We wonder. You just can't take a chance like that. There's so many things that can happen just medically, right? Like, I don't know. Stephanie says, I agree, Lady Freedom, 100%. I've been getting so angry about these cases, especially Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. God bless Seth Rogers for continuing to have strength and courage. Amen, Stephanie. And, for advocating for his son, and it's like, if we don't do that as parents, no one will, right? I mean, look at Uvalde Foundation. They don't want anything to do with parents that they don't think are being honest and truthful. They're going to go and give those resources to parents that are. And it just really is upsetting when you think about the kids that are losing out. Like this beautiful baby Emanuel. Like beautiful Sebastian Rogers. That's true. We do have our chill side and our crazy moments. And I do try to make you guys laugh sometimes because it is so heavy. It is so heavy. That if we didn't share a laugh or poke fun at the ridiculous, it would be very tough to deal with, in my opinion. Oh, and the way that elderly people are treated, Kiki, that's such a good point. That is such a good point. We need to take care of people. We really do. We need to take care of each other better. I think it just comes down to that. Show more compassion. Show people that you care for them. What happened to the random acts of kindness people would do to, for each other? Just make somebody smile. Tell somebody a joke. If you see somebody's having a bad day, say, how are you today? Just the littlest things can help. Oh, GA64. This is it. The devil is working overtime in this world because his days are numbered. It's gotta be. I mean, that has crossed my mind, GA64. It really has. It really has. Especially when I go through and I'm seeing this horrible, like, evil, right? It's not, there's something wrong. And I don't know if it's because, we have more access and, You know, I don't know. Aw, thank you, Retha Bell. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. You guys are amazing too. Hey, I couldn't do this without you guys and your engagement, and the you guys telling me about new cases and things like that. Um, because sometimes I get on a one track mind, or I'm also very sometimes my attention span might not be the greatest, or I might just be focusing in too hard on something or another, like Jaden's case or Sebastian's case. But I'm so glad that you guys told me about this baby, because this baby and all these other kids, they need the public to come together, and our voices have got to be heard for these babies. The ones that are growing, the ones that have these difficulties because of abuse. We have to be their voices. We have to stand up for them. you know Yeah, it's kind of upside down, isn't it, Kiki? Yeah, was evil equals good now, nowadays, and what's good is considered bad, in my opinion. Yeah, it's very weird, and it's very convoluted, and yeah, upside down. Just even with some of these attorneys and some of the things they say, and I know they're defense attorneys, I get it. I'm not faulting them. They're doing their job. I get it. But, at what point do we say, I can't feel sorry for these, crap heads? I just don't have any sympathy for them. Oh no, you did something to your back, Miss Ann? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. Were you like moving stuff, or did you lift something and it kind of threw your back out or something? Yes. Chi says, what was done in the dark will come to light, and Jake is coming to light clearly. Amen. And it's about damn time for it. In my opinion, I don't see how we got away with this. Other than, like we were saying, paying the lawyer to get him out of the trouble and honestly, the judge needs to consider that in my opinion, when they're looking at this case. Oh no, Kiki. Oh gosh, I hate that too. Like when you have such a bad cough. Oh my goodness. Oh, don't worry about it, Retha Bell. I appreciate you so much. Oh no, and hitting the like button, guys, and just being in here, I really appreciate everybody. Like, yeah, absolutely. And times are tough right now, guys. Times are really tough for people, and I understand it. And especially if you have kids and stuff, and always take care of yourselves first, because that's, I love having you guys here, and all of your opinions matter to me tremendously. Um, and just the fact that you guys really, really care means the world to me. It really does, because without people that care, I wouldn't have a show. I wouldn't have anybody in here listening. I wouldn't have, the awareness being spread like it is. Yes, Kiki, exactly. We appreciate you just being here, Retha Bell. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And it does, guys, because that's what it's all about, is for more people to become aware of things like this, because really it's so hard to believe that people could do something so bad, right? Um, and just people that are that share out, or send in information. It's so important for us all to share out each other's research and things. Oh, so Sugar Magnolia says, then summer moon, some things you can't unsee. I had to take a mini break. I know. Well, that case is horrific, in my opinion, Sugar Magnolia. Poor Summer. She is an absolute doll, and she deserves the very best. She deserves to be found. Um, oh, I didn't know that. Kiki says, did you know that allegedly the dad's stepdad owns a bunch of properties also? So that's interesting. I did not know that. So what are they trying? I wonder what they're doing there. In terms of, like, because it did seem like a little compound that they had. Who does this sound like? I know, Kiki. I know. It's like deja vu over and over. You know, the Uvalde thing really got to me with Sebastian's case. The dark web is so horrid. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the things that are going on, the regular web, right? I mean, you always thought the dark web was like the worst of the worst, but I mean, we're seeing it unfold right here. And it's absolutely scary. Ah, Retha, that's so sweet. Kiki, it's just a fact you all are so darn smart, giving us great content. Aw, thank you, Retha. Well, that's why I love you guys too, is because you guys are so smart and bring so much to the conversation. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because I could just come up here and talk at you guys, but I love hearing what you have to say. And, oh, allegedly the mom is staying with a cousin, apartments too. Wow, Kiki. GA64 says, you mentioned last night you lived in Missouri. I was born in Neosho, Missouri, but now reside in Oklahoma, which feels like the surface of the sun. Yes, I'll tell you, I did move from Missouri, and last summer it was so hot. It really was, GA64. Oh my gosh. And I'm familiar with Neosho actually a little bit. Yeah. In Oklahoma, I went to Tulsa one time and picked up a friend from the airport, but that was years ago. They flew into Tulsa. That's right. We work together and bring it together. Yeah, Kiki, and that's what's so important. Like, I seriously am just very much about, like, none of us can solve it by ourselves. Like, there's so many people that have to come into play, or like, just any of the videos we've analyzed over and over and over again, and then one of us might pick up on something that none of us saw before, and it's like, oh, that's so cool, we share it. I mean, that's the way to do it, is to work together. I mean, everybody's theories matter, especially when we don't know, and it's really important to bounce ideas off of each other, in my opinion, I like 3 people without fur. I hear you. Animals are so great, though. Aw. Aw, Town Chat, that's so sweet. Says, Lady Freedom, that reminds me I want to do something for creators like you and Kiki and whoever else has a YouTube channel. If y'all can make a short video explaining, let's see, who you are and what you do, I would like to post it under a playlist on my channel. So email the video once you got them made. Okay, I will. And I still have to do Kiki's challenge. I have not forgot about your challenge, Kiki, because I think that's really cool. Yeah. So you want like a video, Town Chat, of kind of like a little bio kind of a thing, and send it to you? I think I could do that. You might have to like kick me in the ass and tell me, hey, remember I asked you to do this, 2 weeks ago. Aw, and that's the truth. We are all family in here, I feel. Yeah, and I'm glad you feel that way because I feel like that too. I love seeing you guys. That's why I wanted to make sure I started doing an extra show and catch all the early birds and the night owls, and I think it's so important. Kiki says, yes, town chat. I forgot I will do that, hun, after I don't sound like a man. Oh, no. From this cold. Thanks so much. Aw, Kiki. No, I'm so bad, too. Well, ever since I've been, talking so much, I have that rasp myself. Ooh, dipped nuts. That sounds good. Oh, no, they're going to clip that seclusion. That sounds so good. No, I know what you mean. Those are so good. And actually, I love making those at Christmas time too. Those are one of the things that I like to make, like the peanut clusters. I also like to make homemade Reese cups. I like to make those too. And I sometimes I'll do just like smooth peanut butter, and some of them have crunchy. I like to change it up a little bit. Aw, that's cool. Town Chat says, so that way you can have your spotlight moment and be the talk of the town. Oh, that is so cute. I love that, Town Chat. Ooh, making pumpkin and spice breads. Ooh, that sounds so good. I'm a bread girl. I love bread and zucchini bread and all banana bread, all that. And I love nuts, so I know, Kiki. I hope you feel better soon, girl. I know, and it's like it's just kind of that fall time, right? Like, I was moderating, and now I'm like, how many pets? Yeah, exactly. Yes, in the area. Well, and that's the thing too. That's what people tend to look at, and which is a really good thing. But more often than not, we're seeing a lot of these predators, and they're in the family, right? Somebody they knew. Tamron Hall has a really good show. I think it's called Someone They Knew, or Somebody They Knew. Unfortunately. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's very pretty. Missouri is very pretty state. Very, very pretty. So is Tennessee. When I drove through Tennessee, very beautiful. Aw, that's right, Anne. Just always remember you have us, that's for sure. Seclusion, I haven't thought about that, but that's very interesting. Have you thought about creating a series on dangerous mothers? Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do something like that. I mean, gosh, unfortunately, there's like a laundry list of them, you know? Um, yeah, yeah, I think that is something really interesting to consider. Um, you know, because it is. I mean, look, it starts with the moms when these babies are, right. I mean, the dads don't have much to do about the decisions, right, that are happening. I mean, I can't just say, oh, that's, the dad's got to stop it, because really it's up to the mother, and it's her body, and she really has to, take the gift that she's given seriously. Kiki says, I challenged Lady to a challenge to do a short of your teen years. I know, and here I am. I'm like, I know I got photos somewhere that aren't in my storage. They got to be in one of my phones. The cable. She's gonna send Larry the cable guy after me, tell me to get her done. That's cute. I love that. Tell him to send me some Prilosec OTC. Oh, it's hot as the devil here. Sugar Magnolia. Oh, I'm telling you, during the day, I'm like, I'd rather sleep on the living room floor. I'm like, oh, it's nice and cool in here, because that skylight kills me. I'm just warm-blooded. Aw, Kiki says my son asked for pumpkin bread last night. Oh man, that sounds so good. Yes, Nancy Grace is awesome. Hey, Mama, good to see you. Kiki's Kiki's so funny. She's already got her fall decorations. I'm so behind. Oh, cool. Rock candy. Oh, neat. Ooh, bread and butter. Speaking my language right there. Any of those breads, put butter on it, please. And just give me the real butter. I don't need, just give me all that. Oh, November 1st is your son's heavenly birthday, Anne? Oh, yeah, of course. November 1st. Yeah, we'll do like a happy video. For sure, Miss Anne. Aw. Oh, Stephanie Williams says, I just seen where Jake Haro told volunteers then to get off his land. If this isn't so similar to Stink Feet, wow, makes me so mad. My BP is going to be high. Yeah, the doctors. Oh, Stephanie, I know. Oh my goodness. And that's one thing we were talking about too. It's a big red flag and a huge clue if they're like upset, right? And telling you, get the heck off my land. Like, what are you talking about? We're trying to help you. You're begging us for help, until you lawyered up, and now your lawyer's going around and not doing a very good job, in my opinion, because, our beautiful, you know, Ashley Banfield wiped the floor with that guy. I can't wait to see what a prosecutor will do. Sugar Magnolia says, but it was for DV against women. I'm going to, oh shoot, sorry guys, I clicked that damn button. Against women, I'm going to need to charge my crystals. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot, of praying too. Thank you, Retha Bell. You do as well. You as well. And guys, I can't believe I've been up here talking with you all for 3 hours and 44 minutes, but it doesn't even seem that long just because, we've had such great conversation. That's funny, Kiki. Yeah, I think my dad played Pink Floyd to me too. I'm pretty sure Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, you know, Ted Nugent, Double F Gonzo. No, seclusion. I see your diabolical. Mwahahaha. Whatever happened to just having some fun, going to the pumpkin patch, like, gosh, it could just make everything better. Like, I think people stay in the house too often and they get hauled up in there. Talk about hauling up in there. And what the heck, man? Live life. We have one life to live. That's it. Why is it a freaking horror show? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Sugar Magnolia. I'm so glad to like. Again, that's why I just wanted to do some day shows because I know there's a lot of people out there that, especially working during the week, it's just kind of nice, right? Town chat. I know. I gotta get the moonshine going early this year because I need to let it cure and stuff, and then. Um, Christian rap is good though, Kiki. That's good. I like Christian music. I think it's nice to listen to. Oh, I gotcha, Miss Anne. Okay. Miss Anne says August 1st was his heavenly birthday and November 1st is his regular birthday. He would have been 37. Oh, 37. My goodness. Poor Josh. He's just taken too young, Miss Ann. I'm so sorry, honey. Well, we're gonna do a good video for him too. Oh, I just love. You know what's funny? Hey, Judas, I started watching the reality show like right before Ozzy passed away. Rest in peace, Ozzy. I laughed so hard at the reality show. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. Like all of them are characters, right? And then Sharon is so funny. She's all little and diabolical, but in a funny way, right? I've heard some stories about Miss Sharon. Boy, she made me laugh back in the day too. Oh. Seclusion says, just you wait, guys. I will rule the world with my candy craving virus. That's funny. Some people have the sugar bug. I'm like less of a sugary person, but I do like certain things. Like it just depends. Seclusion always makes me laugh. Yeah, Kiki, the pumpkin patch is so fun. Like, I mean, those are the best times with the kids, and like the pictures are so pretty too because like all the fall colors and stuff. I mean, obviously not in Florida, but Midwest and stuff like that. You have all the colors, and it's just so cute. Hay rides, and then you have like the corn mazes. Like that stuff is so fun. Or do a little haunted house, but golly, it just seems like lately it's just like haunted life, like real life is haunted. Aw, Stephanie, I'm so glad. Aw, well, you feel free to comment anytime. I love hearing your guys' feedback, I was watching like one of the YouTube channels, and this one lady was like all about making elixirs and like her own like little lozenges and stuff, and it was amazing. Kiki says, I think my great grandma's recipe: rock candy, whiskey, honey, and lemon. And that was a lot of like in her little elixir, she would show like how she was doing it. I thought it was really neat. I was like, well, who knows? It could work. That is so cool. Seclusion for president. Kiki. Pinky in the brain, seclusion works. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. GA64. I remember that. Pinky in the brain. That was a cute cartoon for sure. Yeah. How funny. Hey, shoot, seclusion works. I need to find you something to do till Aaron blows by. I know. Oh my goodness. I'm glad though. See, that's a good way to spend time. Oh, cool. Wax twine. That's neat. The cough syrup doesn't work where the crab. Gonna make my own, but won't be able to go live then. Kiki, that's so funny. Yeah. Like I said, she's got. I'm trying to think of. I'll have to try to find her and share her because she was really, like making like it was more of like old remedies and stuff. It was really neat. And she, of course, has a disclaimer like, this isn't, going to cure anything, but it's, I mean, it's stuff people used to do. Sugar molecules. Well, guys, I really enjoyed our conversation today, and I do want to end it on a very funny note because these poor babies, I'm just anger to no end. I don't know if this is frozen on me. I guess this is frozen in the back. I don't know what they're doing over. All right, StreamYard, you're being a pain in my patoot. Yeah, Herbalist. I know, Herbalist is really cool. there's a lot of things I think that are natural remedies and things like that. I do believe in that. Yeah, I love going all natural though, for real. It's better for us. I think so too. I think there's a lot of like different like herbs and things like that can help too, in different ways. Like, you know, that we might not always think about. And they have all those like mushroom teas and stuff too lately that I've seen. We're completely off topic and I blame Hey Jude. Well, that's okay. I was going to show the starfish booty, but I can't get him back up. It won't let me move back here. I'm trying to grab it and it's like frozen. I've overworked it today. It's sleepy. Yeah, moonshine in Tennessee. Yeah. Apothecary herbs. Thank you. Yes, Chuchi, exactly. Apothecary. Yeah. And I think this lady's channel might have been something to that effect. But I know I'm still subbed up to her because I was watching her for a while just to see, because I like natural stuff. You know, I don't always believe in, pharmaceutical ways. Yeah, I have made Buckeyes before, Miss Ann. I have. I also made cordial cherries, not last year, but the year before. And they came out really good. You just have to, it is a process. It is a process. But they came out really, really good. Yeah. Bless you too, Churchy. Thank you so much for being here. And Ann Reynolds. Oh my gosh, hey Jude, prayers for you too, girl. Aw. I love you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And thank you to everybody that's new here. And thank you for all of our daytime people. I really have enjoyed being here with you guys. I think this is going to be a lot better for the schedule. And then, I'll kind of have some hours of sleep and that good stuff. And then we'll just do night shows and morning shows. And I think that'll be way better. I don't know why I didn't think of it to begin with, but here we are. Trial and error. But you guys are amazing, and thank you all so much. And let's say prayers for justice, guys. We're seeing justice unfolding in Jaden's case. The charges are up. We have an accomplice, someone who's complicit. Let's say prayers for baby Emanuel, and again, what about Sebastian Rogers? We need justice for Sebastian. We do. We do. And we can't stop until we get it. We need to find him, and I believe he will be found. Ooh, that sounds so good, Seclusion, using natural flavors in the candies. Bourbon truffles and mismeasured. The entire party was wasted. That's funny. That sounds really good. Those little truffles are so good. I worked at an office, and the one guy's wife had made like a bunch of them, and they were delicious. Obviously, there wasn't any, alcohol in them, but he says that she does make those too. But because we just had them at the office party or whatever. Yeah, the little small bottles. Yeah. To get right. Yep. I found the little, there were little ornaments that you could put, liquid in. And that's what I gave away, were like the little tiny ones, and like cut a little cinnamon stick and put it in there. But yeah, the apple pie turned out really, really good. And I think that's the one I'm going to try to make. I hope I can find the good apple cider here, because I like to use a really good apple cider to do it. And then, just cinnamon sticks galore. So rock and ride. Hey, Jude. Yes. And then I also want to do cocoa bombs with you guys. I think that would be really fun. And they're fun to kind of watch people make, too. So we can do like cocoa bombs and true crime one day. Talking Bruce. Oh my goodness. But do not partake, if you are with child, please, we got plenty of time to live that life, So you guys are amazing. I love you guys all so very, 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 very much. You all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tonight for, and I think it'll be either 11:30 kind of normal time. I'll try to maybe go on a little bit earlier if I can, but oh, absolutely, Stephanie. Yes, absolutely. We're not going to stop until we find sweet young Sebastian. Yeah, he's always our focus too, and I thank you guys for that. I thank you guys for that. I will hate you. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Sorry, I'm I'm on morning time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your day. If you're working, don't work too hard, and let's pray hard though. All right, guys, have a great day.